shit you be doing.
And we're live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big Mike.
What up, Big Mike? In before the DC comic references.
Hilarious.
Yeah, that's funny as shit. Oh, man.
The diddler strikes again.
It is a sad day in Whoville. And it's going to get sadder. There are going to be plenty of people who are going to suggest to me and SBJ, y'all need to show what up, Biddy? Y'all need to show some leniency. And you gotta respect the fact that once again, they're prosecuting a black man for some business. It's gonna be people that's gonna suggest that.
And I suggest that they all eat a dick.
Oh, eat a bag of dicks. Eat a bag of baby dicks. Like, listen, no, nigga. Listen, when me and my friends were a threat to the community, it was well within the rights of all the law-abiding black people there who didn't want their kids to have to live around that sort of shit, who didn't want to have to work around that sort of shit, who didn't want to have to feel intimidated by walking toward going to the store and we standing in front there in crowds and shit. It was well within their rights to say, y'all got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Because we were menaces.
What's
up, sis? We were menaces. No matter what reason we put behind why we were doing what we doing, it was still making their life uncomfortable. And they hadn't done anything wrong. Right?
Right.
So much in that same vein, we were preying on other black people in the neighborhood. Everybody me and my friends beefed with were other black people in the neighborhood. Everybody. People who was getting robbed, other black people in the neighborhood. People who were getting addicted to drugs, being sold by other black people in the neighborhood. Yeah, so preying on black people. No bueno. Preying on anybody. No bueno. But you attacking your own? Nah, nigga, we on you. We on you. Because we shouldn't have to get it from all sides. Right?
Right.
We shouldn't have to get it from all sides. So there will be no leniency in this episode. This very special episode. The Black Culture Keys. There'll be no leniency for degeneracy of this type. There's harmless degeneracy, and then there's this. This is not. And also, we're going to be pulling the coat of several well-known people who claim to have been street people who now acting stupid. Now acting like they don't know how this shit works. Exactly, Mike. Your heroes have no power here. These so-called street guys who have made a killing off of the whole theme of their content being placed under street stuff are now acting like they don't understand street stuff and how it works when the local state people come after you versus when the feds come at you. I grew up in a criminal environment. Even people that weren't doing crimes knew about this shit because they had enough people either in their family or friends or just people in the neighborhood that they saw have to engage with the legal system. There are certain things that we all know when you come from those environments. One is that the reason that the feds have such a high conviction rate is because they only come for you when they got you and not before.
It's the difference between what is it? Otherwise, state and everything, they arrest you and then they build the case.
Yes.
The feds, they build the case and then they arrest you.
Yeah. Once they got their shit, their ducks in a row, they're coming for that ass phrasing. especially in this case.
I
Crazy.
mean,
They coming for you, and all of the claims of I didn't do nothing. That's about to be wiped out. That's about to be wiped out because they're going to show you. They're going to show your attorney what they got. Hey, we got this. What you got? what you got? That's why they convicted such a high rate. Yeah. Here's the thing. We got to stop acting dumber than we are. Because all you guys that profess to be street guys that's run around here defending this motherfucker. All of you, y'all know this is true.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know this is true. Y'all know the look you would get on your face back when you was living that life, mutual friends told you about another mutual friend. Oh, yo, the feds caught him. How everybody in the circle go.
Right.
Now y'all acting dumb. Well, we gonna dumb out with you. Just not in the way you think. Not in the way you think. It's on. Look what Sis said. Right. The charges come after a jury has seen the evidence and told the prosecutor, go get him. This is... Don't find out the hard way, is what I'm telling you.
Or do.
Or do. Because if you do, and you're famous enough, we're going to talk about you on the show. We're going to talk about the show. Y'all motherfuckers ain't getting away with none of that bullshit. And for me, I think there needs to be a cleanse, a high colonic, so to speak. Mm-hmm. There needs to be that in this particular industry. Like, and it doesn't matter. Like, I think from this all the way to Hollywood, cleanse it. A cleansing fire. A cleansing fire. Get that shit the fuck out of here. You know how many, can you imagine how many up and coming hopefuls into their into these industries, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and thought, you know, I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna show them I can sing my ass off, and blah, 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 only to find out they didn't want you to sing your ass off. They wanted to keep that ass right there.
Mm-hmm.
How many people disillusioned? Like, man, I don't even want to do this. I don't even want to do this shit. Sean P. Happy birthday, Sean.
Happy birthday, Sean.
Like, it's... Y'all got to understand that you're not above the law. And some of y'all get confused because you see other demos getting away with shit. Mm-hmm. And I keep telling you, you're not viewed the same. And I shouldn't be the one telling you this. History should be telling you this. History should be enough to tell you all of that shit. You're not. And once some of the other demos started getting jammed up, what made you think you wasn't going to get jammed up? Mm-hmm. They went after Harvey Weinstein. You think they're going to come after you? They're not going to come after you, yo. Oh, all right. You different. Okay. Cleansing fire. Mike says, like all the Nickelodeon execs in high regard fucks with finding out they were diddlers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They were all diddlers. Cleanse this shit.
With fire.
Burn it all. And then let's go to the Senate. Let's go to the House of Representatives. Let's move up this chain. Cleanse it. Get that shit the fuck out of here. What's up, Cat? Get that shit the fuck out of here.
What up? What up?
Y'all motherfuckers, y'all gonna learn. Y'all gonna learn. Y'all gonna learn today. These charges are hideous. And the bad thing is the people that's running around here now with the twist in their mouth talk about all of you knew. All of you knew. If you was in the entertainment industry, especially if you was in black entertainment, you knew. Either you were there or you knew someone that was there or heard about this. You knew. So now all this, oh no. All right, yo. Look, I get it. He made some songs. I can barely say this shit with a straight face. He made some songs you like. He has some slaps. I get that you prioritize your entertainment. How are we not like Rome, yo? How are we not like Rome? You prioritize your entertainment over people being abused. Well, okay. Okay. All right. I saw a list of videos that I refused to watch. Just from the titles. Motherfuckers coming up with these fanciful. He pissed off this person, and that's why. All right, yo. Okay. All right. All right. You know what y'all aren't addressing? If he did it or not.
Right.
You're not addressing that part. You're talking all, oh, they did it. Did he do it? Did he do it?
oh, Diddy Done.
Diddy Done. Did he do it? Diddy Done. Like, come on now. Y'all doing a lot of tap dancing. Y'all looking like he was looking a few years back when him and Mace was doing that. Y'all looking like that right now. Y'all niggas looking like that right now. Y'all hitting me with all this 6 degrees is Kevin Bacon shit. Y'all hitting me with all this, and you're not answering the one question that actually matters. Did he do it? Because part and parcel of there being some injustice would be him being accused of things he didn't do. So you might be right. You might have the one half of that right. Oh, he pissed off these people, and that's why now they coming for him. But you don't got the other section of that, because where things would have been ass is if he pissed them off and then they planted evidence and lied on them and it didn't happen and they just said it did. And because they are who they are, and they have connections, and it's the Illuminati, and it's all this other shit y'all throwing up in the air, looking like a bunch of goddamn gorillas throwing leaves and shit and branches, trying to make stuff look bigger and shit.
Yep. Oh, hold on. Wait. We might have another entrant. I can't really tell by the caption. Let's see.
Hey, Consequence, how are you?
What's going on? How you feeling? What's good?
I mean, you've been in the industry for a long time. A lot of people are talking about Diddy getting arrested.
Right.
I mean, is it shocking that he got arrested, or was it just about time before this kind of caught up to him?
I mean, I think that's in the hands of whoever's weighing it or whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, for the coach, I think the coach was in shock. Mm-hmm. Although we kind of seen this playing out in real time, it's still Diddy's in the tombs in Manhattan. I mean, in Brooklyn, my bad. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty big. What do you think about the 1,000 bottles of baby oil getting seized? There's a lot of memes about it. Have you seen any memes about it on the internet?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to no shout out to the Freak Off Party, but I guess that's how the Freak Off Party was popping. But we don't condone Freak Off parties.
No, we don't.
All right, consequence.
Okay. Okay. We trying to listen. We trying to see who belongs in the trash can with them.
Right.
That's what we trying to see. Who belongs in the trash can with them? Because this is a moment. This is a moment.
Nigga.
To cleanse. It's a moment to cleanse.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all that much different than when I used to say, when motherfuckers jumped out the window on some stupid ass. What's up, GA? On some stupid ass conspiracy that is absurd on its face and got a lot of people believing it.
Mm-hmm.
And they go hard online to promote it. Mm-hmm. And we always say, all right. Now, when this turns out not to be what y'all causing all this ruckus about,
5G towers.
Don't think you get to then hide back in your cave or under your rock and pretend to be like the regular people who was like, this is dumb. You're not going to get to fit into the crowd again after this.
Nah.
And y'all that's running around here defending the diddler. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But don't think you now get to run back in your cave or under a rock and pretend you was regular. Nah. We seeing you. And that's why we chronicling all of you fuckers. All of you that are running around this motherfucker. No, listen. All of you who have it in you to defend the shit or to find a way to minimize what he did or try to blame the victims of what he did or with the there's no more normalcy coming back to you. No more wholesome. That wholesome space you may have occupied before you did that, out the window.
Yeah.
Out the window. I don't see you like that no more. Because the question I'm always ask is, what do you have to gain for sticking your toe in that acid? What do you have to gain? Are you defending him? Or are you defending you?
Right.
That's what I'm asking. Because this is egregious. This ain't something. This is egregious. And what that also showed me is, it showed me that y'all not. There's nothing y'all won't defend. There's nothing y'all won't defend. You are debauched. Look, none of us are perfect. All of us do shit that's fucked up from time to time or have. But this shit here? Nah, B. Nah. Look, I told SBJ earlier this week that when I heard of the 1,000 bottles of baby oil, I seem to recall that being in Revelations one of the signs of the apocalypse. There would be 1,000. There would be the Antichrist would bring with him 1,000 bottles of baby oil so you can slide your monkey ass in the hell. Yo, we talking, they had IVs set up for fluid loss, for dehydration. Do you know how much freaking you had to be doing to get to the point where they gotta hook you up to an IV, my guy?
No, nigga, that's not what they... I hate you so much. Well, for those that are not aware and don't understand, that is not why the IVs were there. The IVs were there because between the alcohol and the drugs, the sheer amount that people would be ingesting, they would become dehydrated. So also, he would keep a lot of them in a drug, and keep the room hot. And he would keep a lot of people in a drug-induced stupor.
My God, man.
Which, this is crazy. I'm trying to say all this with a straight face. It's absurd.
It's absurd.
It's the issue. Yeah, it's like, how lucky. All right, so this leads me to believe that you had to have a doctor there.
Bingo.
Because there's virtually no way
you think
you could have gotten this lucky.
You think one of Diddy's bodyguards know how to
right. There's virtually no way you could have gotten this lucky that, let's say you only had 3 of these.
Yeah.
In this 30 years.
And somebody ain't fucking
and nobody died.
In the hospital. Come on.
Right. Man. You had to have had a doctor or 2, or I don't know.
This
maybe
nigga had a full, I must just say he had a full-on medical staff at that shit. Right. But, look, part of the freak off was they fashioned an emergency room in one of the many rooms of the mansion and shit. They had the little monitors and all. That's how I'm envisioning.
That makes sense. given what we know, that makes because again, just realistically, you know how often people overdose?
Yeah.
So
that's facts.
if we have this mixture of hard drugs, alcohol, heat,
Body fluid.
and yes, sure, body fluids leaving your body, mostly sweat. To stop playing, but yeah, like what the fuck? There's virtually no way you'd be able to take care of this type of situation.
No.
And unlike some things we may have seen with other predators and shit,
right?
It's clear that Diddy imbibes as well. It's not that he's not drinking. It's not that he's not
doing
right.
all of that, bro.
So clearly there must have been a designated person or group of people there just to make sure that ain't nobody lose their life in this. Yeah. So,
and don't get it twisted. So I see some people out there who are bringing up the very rare cases where somebody was accused of something that they didn't do. That happens, but it doesn't happen as much as y'all try to make it out to be. And y'all,
it rarely ever happens for RICO cases.
Exactly, bro. Which is the other thing. Maybe we need to go through the charges so people can understand what the fuck this man is dealing with. All right. So we talking racketeering conspiracy 1. That's 1 count.
Mm-hmm.
That means this nigga is accused of leading a criminal enterprise that engaged in a range of illegal activities, including sex trafficking.
Right.
They said forced labor, my guy. He had slaves, kidnapping, arson, robbery, and obstruction of justice. And we're talking over a course of decades. Right. Not, oh, he did it this one time. Or no. This is decades long. They say he allegedly used his business entities to facilitate and cover up his abuses, manipulating women into sexual acts for his gratification, often involving physical violence and coercion. Combs is charged with controlling and threatening the careers and finances of his victims to ensure compliance and silence. That's right, too.
Okay. All right.
2, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Specifically, Combs is charged with recruiting, harboring, and soliciting a person, referred to as victim 1, for commercial sex acts through the use of force, fraud, and coercion between 2009 and 2018. This the Obama years. What the fuck going on here? Right? Transportation to engage in prostitution. That's count 3. The indictment alleges that Combs knowingly transported individuals across state lines with the intent that they engage in prostitution. This includes multiple instances of transporting female victims and commercial sex workers for this purpose. And finally, this is what y'all need to understand this. Because should he be found guilty, he would be required to forfeit any property derived from or involved in the offenses, including profits from criminal activities. Now, if he indeed used his legitimate businesses as a cover or some way to launder the money, they're going after that too. They're going after that too. There is no way this isn't the end. To quote what my esteemed broadcast partner entitled the show, Diddy Done.
Thanks.
And because he's done, this act is going to bring down a lot of other people, which leads us to have to ask a question, right? All you people that's running around here fixing your face to protect that, why would you get involved with that shit? If your name ain't in it, step the fuck out of the way, because why throw your credibility up on a heap, on a fire pile, to say something in defense of this man because he had some slaps? So maybe one day a long time ago, y'all was at a club and he sent you some Moet or some shit. What the fuck are y'all doing? What the fuck are y'all doing? Now I'm talking about Faison Love. Yo, even Math Hoffa was kind of sus in one of his lives. And I'm like, yo, I understand you were accused of something you didn't do, but do not compare what happened to you to this. It's not the same thing.
Not even close.
Not even close. We talking Bootsy. We even talking people that are supposedly on the other end of all of this shit in a Dr. Umar who claims to come from some wholesome black power fucking diaspora enriching and uplifting space, still trying to find a way to make this man a victim of something. Loudly defending Puffy. These some heavy ass charges, B. This is racketeering, sex trafficking, the works, right? But I got what I gotta ask them is this though, like what's really motivating y'all to stick your toe into that shit? Is it because you think you're gonna get engagement out of talking about these things? Because these are buzzwords, and people are constantly going towards these sort of things when they're looking for content. So if you use this in your, I don't know, titles or content, you think you get, because that's sad. If that's the case, that's sad. That's sad as fuck. And I hate it. Me and SBJ talked about this earlier this week. I don't like when they cloak their defense of this bullshit in the veneer of pro-blackness. Yeah. When they start saying shit like, what about all the white people that got away with the shit? And now they coming at this black man. Like, I don't want to hear that shit from none of you. Because that to me is not true pro-black behavior.
No, immediately. After I saw one of the pieces of revealing him being officially locked up or something like that, I went back to Twitter immediately.
Of course you do.
Oh, it's crazy that Diddy's being arrested for being freaky, but Donald Trump can run for president. Blah, blah, blah.
The reductionist arguments are nuts.
No, and there are the levels to which those are not the same.
It's not the same.
The levels to which, like, and don't get me wrong, Trump might have been at some of these parties.
Yeah, because he said him and Diddy was close and they were friends.
Yeah. However, we don't know that yet.
Nope. There's no evidence that points to that.
We don't know of, and correct me if I'm wrong, we don't know of any situations where he's serially, physically hurt people directly.
No, I can't. I can't
think of.
I know there has been cases that have gone to court that he did do that shit. But as far as you said, serially, I don't. And we're also talking about evidence. So it's possible he did that shit.
Yeah, it's absolutely
all
possible.
that shit. But we talking about 100%
evidence that we can.
There's been more than one woman. There's been more than one woman that came out, but we're talking about what was adjudicated in court.
Right.
Right.
I don't know that exists. It could,
and
we know it exists for Diddy.
We not only do we know it, but to the degree that we know it.
Yeah,
like
we've seen video. We saw his apology video, which is going to hurt him in court.
Yes, it is.
Because he referenced, I'm paraphrasing, that he has never done anything like
what
that.
He said.
Any other.
He said that was the first time he was in a bad place and all of that bullshit.
And then his lawyer. What it looks like to me, based on what I've seen happen so far, and what I've seen some people who are lawyers talk about, it seems to me that, and again, outside of the whole feds thing, with the feds, we know death is almost certain. But outside of that, all of the things that I'm
Royce the 5'9" shit.
Outside of that, all the things that I'm seeing, again, with help from people who are actual lawyers.
Yes.
It looks like Diddy's lawyers know.
They know
exactly what's about to happen, but Diddy's not listening to them. So they are doing their jobs because he's paying them. When the lawyer comes out, after we have video of what he did to Cassie and says Miss Ventura was in the room and she hit him with something before she left the room and blah.
Whatever.
Yeah, she was trying to fucking escape. That's what you're not being helpful.
You're not being helpful.
you're not being helpful.
Being helpful at all. You're not. Listen. You're not. And
if that was for that to be anything credible, his action should have been. And again, I'm not saying he should have done this, but in the moment, his action should have been go get his lick back and leave her where the fuck she was.
Right.
If that's the argument that we're making, or call the police.
You got to solve it, right?
If that's the argument we're making, then the logical follow-up would have been him either calling the police or getting his lick back and not bringing her back to the fucking room so she could assault him some more.
Yo,
like, what are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't follow.
That's the wildest shit ever. And something Sis brought up. Yeah, they talking all this black stuff when it come to him. Where's the pro-black woman stuff in all of this? Right. And again, look, just so we are clear, I have a definition for pro-blackness for me, right? Mm-hmm. It's about building and protecting black families. It's about educating ourselves and being smart about how we interact with the systems that have historically taken us for a fucking ride. It's about ensuring our communities thrive, shielding our people from narratives that diminish us, and having real discussions about potentially stepping away from environments that mean us no good. That's, to me, real empowerment, right? But what I'm hearing from some of you motherfuckers on Twitter and some of you other celebrity people, what I'm hearing is that y'all done twisted this shit all around, right? To shield some behavior from a motherfucker because they famous or because you like their slaps or some shit like that. Because how does defending a man accused of exploiting vulnerable people, of leading a criminal fucking enterprise that traffics and abuses, how does that uphold the values of protecting our community? I'm trying to figure out, can somebody explain to me how you square that circle? Mm-hmm. He's literally preying on people. People terrified to say anything because when a motherfucker got a lot of money, they can make things happen.
Thanks.
And in all kinds of ways. Sure, the one that comes out first is they can pay to have something happen to you. But it's not always in just that way. It's literally they holding the purse strings of somebody's entire livelihood. And the fact that, you're going to lose this from him, and then you'll never be hired again because he'll use his connections to blackball you. There's a lot that goes in that, going up against somebody that has a lot of money. And more so than is that, if he would have a lot of power with a lot of money and no fame. Mm-hmm. Having fame and money, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Some of you motherfuckers are trying to maintain a status or maintain connections and shit. Maybe even financial ties. But you need to understand something right now. If it's true that he mingled his legitimate businesses in with this racketeering shit and the other things he did, there will be no financial ties.
Well, hold on. I think you're trying to be charitable. Here's the thing. What the lawsuit alleges is that the very real business entity that we know exists has employed people who have helped him successfully run these situations.
Yes.
That includes bodyguards.
Exactly.
So, given that any of these charges is true, your if becomes a reality.
Facts.
There's nothing further that they have to
You're right. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. GA, I would also argue that that's a double L. Because not only did this freaky ass nigga slap the fuck out of Drake,
that's
his hand was probably soaked in baby oil when the slap.
Stop it. Listen. So somebody I don't even remember who it was, and I didn't even comment because I felt like there was no point. But I just want to get this out here. Mm-hmm. Somebody said, "Well, what's wrong with having 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube?" Let me express this to you.
Please do.
So anybody who's ever owned a bottle of baby oil, right? Think about how long it takes to actually use that entire bottle.
Nigga, if you got 2 bottles of baby oil, you bought too much. That's too much in your house. That's too much in your house.
Like, what are we talking about?
Yo,
here?
I don't think I've ever used it.
I've never used an entire bottle of baby oil. I bought at the height of when I was doing the photography in the studio at the apartment. At the height of that, I bought a bottle of baby oil.
Right.
When we moved, I threw it away. It was not finished. It was not finished. So like,
and I bet that bottle you had wasn't as big as the bottles that they pulled out of his shit.
Probably not.
Probably had one of them little
industrial. He had the industrial size. Yeah, no, bro.
He got that shit from Sam's Club. He got the big.
Yo.
Then this really infuriated me when I saw Faison say some shit like, "I need y'all to help me," on some disingenuous bullshit. "I need y'all to help me." Now the stuff he did with Cassie, yeah, he need to go.
Oh, hold up. Yes, I wanted that. Yes, Chrissy, thank you. That's another important distinction to make. The official channels express what I said: baby oil and lube. It's not just baby oil.
That's right.
They are not interchangeable. Well, technically, you might be able to use baby
oil as lubricant.
No, you might be able to use lubricant for the purpose of what baby oil is used for. But they're not interchangeable.
Right.
That's not how that's supposed to work.
Baby oil and lube.
And lube, yes. So,
which was probably K1. So look, listen. Faison comes out his face and he says, "The shit he did with Cassie, yeah, he go jail, nigga, throw nigga jail for that. But being nasty, we locking them up for being nasty. How could you?" This shows me the people that actually read the charge papers and the people that not. How could you actually reduce all of that into he was just being nasty?
Right.
This is what I mean by educating yourself. Educating yourself. Because if I'm to assume, and I don't, that was a legitimate question and not somebody trying to pettifog the shit that's against this man by making an indictment against the system somehow, right? That's what I think that was. That's what it looked like to me, right? All you had to do was read the damn charge papers. That's all you had to do. And none of those charges, they mention anything about baby oil and lube, that he had an exorbitant amount of baby oil and lube, and now that's illegal. None of those charges say anything about that. You're going to focus on that part, but not on the arson. You're going to focus on that part, not sex trafficking. You're going to focus on that part, not the forced labor. You're going to focus on this part. Not... It's so disingenuous that it leads me to believe that it's purposeful.
Right.
Because that's a lot there.
Yeah. So here's the thing. One thing about this celebrity defenders thing that puzzles me. Mm-hmm. So generally, celebrities, and specifically some of the ones that have spoken about this, verbally criticize the idea of being perpetually online, right? That is something you'll hear this in rhetoric such as "go touch grass," "y'all got too much time on your hands," things that they say like that, right? Right. So that is something that they attribute knowing things that happen on the internet to do. But y'all only seem to equate Diddy's charges to being freaky or being nasty. But anything official explaining the situation clearly goes into more detail than that. Right. So which is it?
Right.
Are you being perpetually online?
Right.
Or are you willfully ignoring the nature of his alleged crimes because they hit a little close to home?
Are we going to look at those videos and find you on it? Maybe not engaged in anything that will be technically considered a crime, but some very embarrassing positions that you happen to be in these videos, because trust and believe, they got them videos. That's why they went and raided the house. Was one of the reasons they wanted to see, we'll find these fucking tapes. And again, I say to you, when they raided his house, you notice they did not arrest him at that time.
Right.
All of this fits into the pattern of what we were saying previously about they wait till they got you before they come get you. All right? They got what they needed, plenty of what they needed. And here's the other thing too. People told. Because they don't go to the head of the enterprise first.
No.
They go to the people that are working for the enterprise. And then they apply pressure to these motherfuckers and start talking big numbers to them. And we ain't talking about a record contract. Big numbers, right? And then these people start envisioning everything going away. Whatever family, time that they had, they start thinking, oh shit, I may never see my peoples again. Those trips to Disney World, those trips to Bermuda, all that's going away. Chilling by the fireplace on a cold, wintry Christmas morning is going away. Going to see your favorite Marvel movie that comes out is going away. And they start saying, oh, fuck this and fuck him. I'm at whatever I need to say or tell on you about, I'm telling.
Thanks.
If it gets me out of this shit. And I'm going to paint you in the worst possible light, like I was, he made me do it. To further disconnect and separate myself from this shit. So they already talked to these people. They already got people, trust me, lined up to testify. Lined up. And even though I don't want to hear it, I know I'm going to hear it. I'm going to hear all of these pro-black, these fake-ass pro-black arguments about why we should be. No, I heard you niggas do that with Bill Cosby. And after all the fuck shit Bill Cosby came out of his face and said about us, our community, our mothers. Guess you ain't heard the pound cake speech.
Right.
He been on that shit for a while. Despite all that marketing bullshit that he put out there. Because see, marketing work with motherfuckers. That's why they use it. It's the reason why for a long period of time, y'all thought Elon Musk was Iron Man. Because he didn't say shit. His publicist did all of that. Then he started talking. Like, oh, damn. Yeah. Nah, ain't no running from this one. Nah. You got to see this shit. Drop. Nah. Like, this shit is crazy because, like I said, I think it's really just the tip of the iceberg. There's going to be a lot of people either that's going to go down or going to be very embarrassed publicly, unless some judge somewhere decides not to allow them to publicly release names and shit that was on the videos. And that's entirely possible. That could happen. But I think it's almost worse to not release it because it allows people to speculate. It allows them to speculate and then drag people who probably wasn't even there into it because they famous and they had some sort of connection with that man. You probably was at them parts, and you know how misinformation spreads these days online. Once a few people have said it, if it's funny, People will value the funny, the humor over the truth of it, and they'll roll with it. They'll roll with it. So, just in my opinion, if I was the judge, y'all release what the fuck y'all want about who was on there. That's what I would do, because it protects the most amount of people. Sure, these people are going to be embarrassed, but this saves a whole bunch of other people from being accused of some shit and then having to prove a negative. Prove you wasn't there. Prove you wasn't involved. Nah. Release it. And, you know, I'm not even just saying that because I help host a podcast and it would be great content.
Sure.
That's not the only reason. It's part of it. But that's not the only reason, right? But to be honest, I'm more interested in the people that helped let us know who was down, 10 toes on this shit. So they can be put in the proper category.
Yeah. Or facility.
Nigga, you a 60. Oh, exactly. You a 6'9" guard. Put that. I want to know who you criminal motherfuckers is. And I would not be surprised if it's not some other well-known people who facilitated a lot of this shit with him. I would not be surprised if they get jammed up. And a lot of other shit come to light too. So also this week, Sean. For those of you who are aware and know who Sean is, upcoming artist back 20 years ago, upcoming artists. Like people was fucking with Sean. They were really fucking with him now. Some people, if I'm not mistaken, some people were saying he kind of sounded like Biggie. It was a little bit.
Diddy was kind of looking like Biggie.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But he was up and coming, people was fucking with him. And then there was a club incident. Shots were fired. A woman got hit in the face. Black woman got hit in the face. But this is part of the whole motif of you're preying on your own community type shit, right? And the rumors were always around.
Oh yeah.
Diddy did that shit. The woman has never
she came out publicly in on video, cameras, microphone. Oh no, I saw what happened.
Yeah.
I saw him with the gun.
Yeah. Diddy shot me.
Yeah.
And they put it on Sean to protect Diddy. And Sean did over 2 decades in prison for a crime he didn't commit.
Right.
Took his life from him. And he wasn't even with Bad Boy long enough to have actually been friends with him. Took his life from him. And that man came home. He's a fellow Belizean. He came home, right? And he came home and they have interviewed him. I think there was a recent interview where they were in Belize, I believe. And they were asking him questions about all the shit that's taking place now. And you know, his position on it was that he was angry for a long time, but he had to forgive Diddy, not for Diddy's sake, for his sake.
Right.
And there is truth to that. I find that to be truthful in a lot of cases. It's not about the person. It's about you. Are you going to let that drag you down to the point where the rest of your life is meaningless? The little bit of time you might have left, even though he's like 39 or some shit now, so he got time, right? Is that going to be the thing that anchors your entire fucking life?
Right.
Now, me, I'm petty, so I'm mad forever. I just did 20 slices. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm on that, right? But everybody not like that. And some people are a bit more well-adjusted than me. Right? So
no doubt.
I respected what he said in the interview. I respected it, right? But this man had been exploiting and abusing his own folks for quite a few years. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. If you think for 1 second that his relationship was with Biggie was they were chummy chum, you're delusional. They weren't chummy chum. This was business.
That's not what happened. Yep.
It's business. All I gotta do is talk to Christopher's mom.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to his mom. A lot of things gonna come out of this shit. Trust me, because when the feds start looking, they start looking.
Mm-hmm.
They don't stop. You know, bad boy, you don't stop.
Okay.
They don't stop. All right. So a lot of shit gonna come out with this. So batten down the hatches, and also expect a lot of black people to make spectacles of themselves over this shit,
Mm-hmm.
and make themselves look really, really bad, trying to jump in the way and be a bullet shield for this nigga. I say the same thing about people that jump to be bullet shields for people like Trump. Like, yo, that ain't your fight. I don't know why you think you need to be the one that jump in front the bullet for this motherfucker. I'm telling you the same thing about Diddy. Don't do it. Don't do it. Keep your mouth closed. Because this shit gonna make you look stupid. And worse than looking stupid, it's gonna make you look corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Stay away from that shit.
Yeah.
And some of you motherfuckers really need some more media training. I don't know how y'all been in this sort of celebrity space for this long and haven't got media training. It's shit crazy.
Yeah. All right, so I want to point out a conversation that comes up pretty much anytime we talk about some of these celebrities on bullshit. There's somebody on Twitter. They asked earnestly, because I've seen this type of question be asked recently about other people in bad faith. But it's seemingly earnestly. This person asked, so I ask again, are you all deleting all things Diddy from your playlist? All music from Bad Boy Records? My response was,
let me say that again.
Are you deleting all things Diddy from your playlist? All music from Bad Boy Records? So my response was, if you are already a fan, this is almost as unrealistic as doing the same for Robert. This is mostly because Robert and Sean have been involved in so much music that the average person would never know.
Right.
What I do is try to only listen to their stuff in a way that doesn't give them money. Now, here's an incomplete list of every person who would be affected by you attempting to do a total boycott of Diddy's music. Supercat, Notorious B.I.G., Mary J. Blige, Third Eye, TLC, Busta Rhymes. I might repeat some because it's not in list form.
Right.
So again, start over. Supercat, Notorious B.I.G., Mary J. Blige, Third Eye, TLC, Busta Rhymes, Total, Rampage, Mace, 112, Little Kim, Carl Thomas, Too Short, Jay-Z, The Lox, System of a Down, Sherry Dennis, Lil C's, G Dep, Black Rob, Mark Curry, Usher, Faith Evans, Loon, LL Cool J, Biz Markie, Eminem, Obi Trice, Young Jock, Cassie, Nori, Big Motto, Don Omar, The Dog Pound, Snoop Dogg, Beanie Siegel, Ghostface Killer, Petey, who some people might know as Petey Crack, Danny Kane, T-Pain, Akon, Rick Ross, Trey Songz, Booba, Pusha T, Wale, French Montana, Meek Mill, Trey Songz, Miguel, Neo, Fabulous, Red Cafe, Machine Gun Kelly, Los, Chinks, Drugs, Ludacris, Jeremiah, Travis Scott, Birdman, The Game, DJ Khaled, T.I., Swiss Beats, Snoop Dogg, already said Snoop Dogg, Mike Will Made It, Future, Drake, Jeezy, Juicy J, Schoolboy Q, Pastor Troy, Trader Truth, Lil Durk, Ty Dolla $ign, Kanye, Hit Boy, Gizzy, King Los, Nipsey, ASAP Rocky, Bow Wow, Blood Orange, Taishi, Problem, Mike Posner, Katy Perry, A Boogie with the Hoodie, Big Sean, Jason Martin, Ken the Man. Hold on, gotta flip to the next page. Janelle Monáe, Quincy, Craig Mack, Faith Evans, Tanya Trotter, Mario Winans, Sean. I think I said Sean already. Dream, The Band, Fuzz Bubble, 8Ball MJG, Foxy Brown, Boys in the Hood, Sherry Dennis, Kalina Harper, New Edition, Red Cafe, B5, Dirty Money, Gorilla Zoe, Day 26, Elephant Man, Donnie Klang, Pitbull, Christian Daniel. Hold on, gotta flip to the next page. Jodeci. Isley Brothers, Boys the Men, Mariah Carey, KRS-One, Brian McKnight, Aretha Franklin. I think I said J-Lo, but if I didn't, J-Lo, Heavy D, Ice Cube, Limp Bizkit, 3LW, Britney Spears, Method Man, blah, 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 blah. And that list is still not comprehensive.
Right. So the idea that if you round up every piece of music that he had anything to do with and say, okay, these things I'm not listening to anymore, that's impossible.
It's simply not realistic.
Also, like I said, any money, like Sis said, restitution should be paid. So
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now you could say anything with him on it, fuck that. All right, cool.
Sure.
That's a great way. You don't want, because sometimes it might be a case of, I don't even really want to hear this nigga voice anymore.
Right.
It's so fucking bad.
Yeah.
I don't even this nigga voice no more. Like, because every time I listen to it, I'm thinking about this. Like, man, this nigga can't believe this nigga did that, right? So that's one way you could go with it. But the idea
you could just try, like you could still like attempt to not listen to anything he's been involved with. You're not gonna get it right.
No.
You can attempt to and not hold yourself,
because you might not know that he was involved with that.
Don't be hard on yourself.
Yeah, because it's impossible for you to do.
It's not possible to do.
That's ridiculous. He's been in the game too long. He's touched quite a few.
I don't like you. I don't like you.
He's worked with a lot of artists. You know what I'm saying? Look, in any other circumstance, had I said he's touched quite a few artists out there, no one would have. But look at how bad this is. Look at how bad this is. Look how bad this is.
Nigga.
Look.
Like, what are we?
Listen. This is the other thing about it too. Don't mistake our laughter.
Oh, nigga.
Nigga. This is.
I've been seeing this bullshit. So I would like to give a special shout out to the dumbasses. Tend to forget that, especially our community.
Yes.
Especially our community.
It's facts. It's facts.
We have a thing where laughter goes along with the pain.
Yep.
Hey.
Hold up.
Oh, that gives me a perfect opportunity to talk about these. Okay, all right. So,
shit.
Especially in our community, we have a thing where laughter goes along with the pain. Oftentimes, paraphrasing of one of the ways that you explain that is you laugh so you don't cry.
That's it.
So that is a thing, right? Let's talk real quick about shits and gigs. Not the thing that I say often, because I usually just abbreviate it to shigs because it's just quicker, saves time. Who wants to say the whole thing? But it's a podcast. And there are two black men from the UK.
Oh, yeah.
And they are a very popular podcast. Some months ago, they went on a podcast called Flagrant 2. Flagrant 2. Which always confused me because what happened to Flagrant 1? But anyway, that podcast.
Maybe they were just including themselves. Like, we're Flagrant.
Maybe. Actually, I've never seen it written out, so that's possible. I've only heard the whole title of the podcast. But anyway, hosted primarily. I've never seen an entire episode, so I couldn't tell you.
I've only seen clips.
But the most famous person is Andrew Schultz.
Yes.
Now, we haven't talked much about Andrew Schultz on here, but I'm pretty sure that anytime I did bring him up, I talked about how shitty he was in some way, shape, or form. And we're not even going to be facts, GA. GA said, shit, we dance at the repass. Facts.
Yo, speaking of you saying that, at my brother's funeral, I made the people laugh, then they cried. And I spoke
absolutely
about some things
that's
about
how it
him.
goes.
That's how it works, bro. That's how it works.
Excuse me. They were on Schultz's podcast, and if you don't know who Schultz is, good for you. Keep it that way. If you do know who Schultz is, you know that over the last, I want to say, since the pandemic, he's heavily pivoted towards racial comedy. Now,
I would argue
another reason
if you watched his shit, because he really started getting more into the public eye, fucking with Charlemagne.
Oh yeah, of course.
If you watch some of those clips, you'll see the beginnings, the early beginnings.
Oh yeah. The pandemic gave him an opportunity to really hone it and go all in on it. And now that's really just what he's known for. Yeah. Now, I hate them. I hate Shits and Giggles. I can't. What is the name of that podcast? I think it's Shits and Gigs. I hate Shits and Gigs. Yeah, I hate Shits and Gigs even more because they're making me still man Andrew Schultz. So, to his credit, I put in quotes, he's equal opportunity. You know how people try to make it sound like they are, but they really are. No, it actually is equal opportunity. He makes these jokes.
And Bill Burr.
Bill Burr is. But Bill Burr is better.
He's better. He
does it in a much better way.
He does it in a much better way, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because he's actually familiar with, and you can tell the difference between people who are familiar with the community, and craft their jokes from that, than someone that is only marginally familiar with some members of the community.
Right.
The type of jokes they lean into versus people that are familiar with the community. It's a difference. It's a difference.
So yeah, Schultz is equal opportunity. Anybody can get it. That is a fact.
Right.
However, you know that. And if you don't know that, you need to fire your publicist and manager, whoever the fuck they are.
Right.
Because there's no way that a podcast as big as yours should be going on another podcast without doing fucking research first.
Right.
That's just facts.
Right.
That's just plain business. That's how that shit works. Right. So they were on this podcast and they were talking and they brought up the black woman effect, like dating a black woman. And their joke was that, you know, you see the white guys, they get the line up and they get the low cut and they get the beard. And Schultz rebuttals with, I think that's just a protective stance. And they're like, what do you mean? And Schultz says something to the effect of, yeah, they're getting the beard so they can protect from being slapped, and they're cutting their hair low because they're losing all their hair
from being stressed out by
So these two niggas are losing their fucking mind with laughter. That's not what I'm talking about. See, the other thing that goes along with our culture is, you ever heard somebody say that when they get mad enough to cry, it's time for you to watch out?
Yes. Yes.
So, in the face of the thing, the laughter, if it's not funny, is supposed to subside.
Yes.
Or at least accompany something else.
Yeah.
That is not what happened. They just laughed.
And
not even giggled. They guffawed.
Also, there's things they could have said to even mitigate that. I know they were overseas. They weren't in their country. And I know that leads to some uncomfortability. And they were on some ice show and all of that stuff. But there's things they could have said in response, even after laughing, in response to him to speak up. And women, right?
100%. And like literally, not even joking, one of them, his mouth was so wide open you could see all his teeth.
Oh, damn it.
I don't mean just the front teeth. I mean all of his teeth.
Damn it.
The other one was doubled over in laughter. So they put out this apology. A couple things on their apology. One, It wasn't on their main page.
Of course not.
The apology was on their backup page.
Yep.
Why? I don't know for sure, but because if it's on your backup page, that's where all of the backlash goes.
I think I know why they did that. We actually had a conversation before just about music. I think it applies with this shit too.
Mm-hmm.
When you are a successful artist and have sold millions of records,
mm-hmm.
and you happen to be black, I don't care what your music was about. White folks bought your shit too. And in fact,
without question,
they probably bought the majority of that shit, right?
100%.
And they put that shit on the back page because I'm quite sure if they're a successful podcast, they got quite a few white folks, watching and listening, and they put it on the back page because they ain't want too many people to see that shit. We see you. We see you.
No,
we see you.
Okay. That's one issue with the apology. The other issue is their excuse.
This is a fact. He's big money now.
I'm glad you said that. Here's my other issue with the apology is their excuse. Oh, it was a fight or flight situation.
Oh, I hate it.
Everybody likes to say what they would do in a scenario. You like to say that you would kick over the microphones and grab him and shake him.
Notice how none of us made that argument.
Not a single person
said, even if you left, you could have said something after mitigating. Right. You're part of that. Like, you crazy, man. Black women be crushing it.
Yo,
come on, it's black girl magic. You could have did that. They would have been completely out of the conversation then.
100%. It would have been all those Schultz, which would have done nothing because that's what Schultz does.
Exactly.
So from this, I've seen some disingenuous takes and some takes from people that just don't know Schultz at all. So I forget.
Or they've seen stand-up from him and that they enjoyed. Because I noticed that, again, we are so wrong that it's crazy. Because if people enjoy something, that motherfucker could have killed 50 people, cut them up, put them under floorboards, and there'll always be the caveat, make great music though, or he's good fun, he's a funny. We are wrong like a motherfucker.
So Schultz, after he finds out about the apology and the backlash, he addresses it on a Flagrant episode.
Oh yeah. I saw the clip.
He's being Schultz because that's who the fuck Schultz is. There's nothing surprising about that. And he threw them under the bus.
He damn sure did.
The most damning part was the part at the end where he said, hey, these guys got in touch with me after we recorded and asked for things to be removed. This was not one of the things they asked to be removed.
Yeah, buddy.
So
hold up. Before you continue, the question I have is, so what have we learned? And this is specifically to them. You motherfuckers keep thinking you can do any and everything because you got a little bit of popularity. But the motherfuckers don't care about you. And the moment some trouble comes down, they're going to shove you under the bus and stuff you with their boots. To make sure you don't get up out of there, and they're going to be just fine. So remember that when you go on these shows, these interviews, remember that.
Clearly,
remember that.
They never thought the leopards would eat their face. So I saw somebody comment on Schultz's clip, and they're like, this is crazy. All y'all talking about shits and gigs, and ain't nobody saying nothing about this one. I'm pissed about this, blah, blah, blah. And let me find my sex.
I saw that shit.
My exact response.
We already know.
Where is
it? We already know. This is what Schultz did.
Okay, so their post was, people were laughing like, ha, this is what happens when you're a coon, but this video pisses me off. We shouldn't forget he is the one who was making these jokes. James and Fuha deserve every bit of flogging they get, but I hate that they're getting more flogging than the racists. And my response was, I can only speak for the people who are arguing in good faith.
I'm glad. By the way, that caveat right there was excellent.
I said I can only speak for those who are arguing in good faith. There's no reason to say anything about him. We already knew he is a racist. People will always talk more about new info than old. It doesn't piss us off because we've long stopped giving him our energy. It's that simple. I don't care what Schultz does. I know what Schultz does. Yeah. This isn't a surprise that he would have made that joke. Yeah. And you know what it reminded me of? This situation. It reminded me of the time that Chris Rock was sitting with Louis C.K.
Say it again.
Jerry Seinfeld and Ricky Gervais. And what Chris Rock did was what James and Fuhad did.
Yes.
What Chris Rock should have, what James and Fuhad should have done,
right,
is what Jerry Seinfeld did.
Right.
Hey, I don't find this funny. What's funny about it? Where's the joke?
Yeah.
That is what you do. Nobody's asking you to punch nobody in their fucking face. We know how this works. I don't expect you to be able to do that without consequences. I expect you to get sued out of your fucking pants.
Fact.
So,
and also, you were out of your country. You were not in your. You were overseas.
You
weren't trying to go to jail. You weren't trying to
tell you to beat Schultz the fuck up.
No, nobody was saying that.
Who just asked you to do that? He didn't. Well, in private, that might happen. Mm-hmm. But given that it's a public forum, he didn't do nothing that warrants getting his ass beat.
No.
Again,
he told a tasteless, racist joke or whatever. And that doesn't necessarily warrant that. It definitely doesn't warrant you crashing out in front of cameras,
right?
Over some shit like that.
It wouldn't have been worth it. Like
it's not worth it. Again, nobody suggested that you get up and give him a Roman Reigns Superman punch.
No,
nobody suggested that.
The idea is he violated and he made you uncomfortable. What we're saying is make him just as uncomfortable.
Right. Joe was in Scotland, yo. Joe's in Scotland. That's crazy.
Oh shit.
Have a good trip.
That sounds fun. Well, kind of.
Not if it's cold.
Well, yeah. So like just make him uncomfortable as he made you.
Yo, that's it.
Oh, ha. All right. Explain that joke for me.
Yeah. Yo, what's the guy, the actor that did that? He was on this news program.
Oh yeah, he was like, "Well, why can black people say the word and we can't say it?" Say it.
He said, "Say it.
Just say it. Go ahead.
Say the word."
Matter of fact, I'll say it with you.
I'll say it. No, the funny part to me is when not only did he suggested that you go ahead and say it, right before he said the part, "I'll say it with you," he pointed at him like, "I got you.
Yeah.
You know, I got you. You know, I got you."
Yep. Yep. He's like, so, and it was crazy how he did it. He's sitting there like this, waiting for the finish. Waiting for the finish. See, he finished.
That's the
you want to say the word? Go ahead and say it. I don't want to say it. No, come on. We can say it together. Like, whoa, okay, all right.
That's it. Like, that's it right here.
There are several different ways that you can
Delroy Lindo. That's
rather than just laughing your asses off and letting him get that off. Now, again, I don't think anybody's making the argument that Schultz told you ahead of time that he was going to make a joke about black. No, nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying that. It's just that there's more that you can do. All right, let's extrapolate a lot
about yourself by what
that part. Let's extrapolate this. So the idea is that if you're in public, not on camera, and you're with a friend of yours, who happens to be a black female, and somebody does something that offends her, you're just going to laugh and keep walking. That's what you're saying. That's effectively what you're saying. And the problem with all of this is that your main demographic is black
women. So here's the thing, and this is why this is so bad for you. If our perception is you were walking down the street with your either girlfriend, black girlfriend, or black just friend that happens to be a black woman, and somebody says something distasteful, dishonorable, and fucked up to her, that all you would do is laugh and do nothing, we put you in a category that you don't want to be in.
Correct.
The way we see you after that, You're not gonna stand.
Because here's the thing. Again, even in that instance, you don't gotta throw hands.
Nope.
You don't gotta throw hands.
Say something.
Say something.
That's it. Say nothing.
Even if all you're saying is something to her, to calm her down and ease her whatever feeling she's in
right.
because of what was said. But say something, you just laugh.
Yeah. Oh
no, they could have been like, "Hey, shout out to all my black queens out there."
Right. Yo, something simple. It didn't need to be so elaborate. MLK speeches. It didn't need to be none of that.
When Schultz took his breath, hey, shout out to all my black queens out there.
Right.
Love y'all.
That's all he had to do. They would not have been this conversation, but it revealed your natural instinct to do what you did and laugh that fucking hard, both of you.
Yeah.
It reveals something about you. And then when other videos start coming out, other clips of things you've said, not things Schultz has said, things you've said, it starts to paint this bigger picture of who you are. Just like the Diddy.
And if it's not really one of those situations that really should lead to any scrutiny, it don't matter because in hindsight, we have a picture that is being drawn about your character and who you are. The one clip that people kept circulating, and they were focusing on him, one of them saying, "You're white, you've already won." That, taken out of context, is terrible. But in context, if you actually pay attention to what he was saying,
in context, there is a way to make that not sound as terrible. Yeah.
But because of the other things,
it could be commentary on the way society is set up. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
But no, you don't get that benefit of the doubt now because of this other bullshit. Like, what are we doing here? So, yeah, it was disappointing. I never watched an episode, but I
never even heard these before this, so it wasn't.
They were. I saw clips.
For real? I didn't know. I didn't know.
Yeah. I've seen clips of this, and they've been interviewed by Kevin on stage before. So I watched that. Yeah. They're pretty they're decent. The last thing that pissed me off about this goddamn apology, and I don't see anybody talking about it, and I made a video on TikTok, and I didn't bring it up in that video because TikTok, I didn't have so much time. Is we're over there on tour because we love our fans. No. That only works if you did those shows for free.
Yeah.
No, you went over there to the tour because of the money. Now, wanting to interact with and see that side of your fandom could absolutely have been a contributing factor.
Yeah.
But no. You didn't go over there just because you wanted to see those. No, nigga, you went over there for money.
Listen, and allow me to disabuse most of you who think that any artist, regardless of what they do, just because they don't get a check specifically for doing that, doesn't mean they don't get money on the back end. I did not. My biggest performance was at the First Reason rally. That's the biggest amount of people I did not get paid for that performance directly. I got paid on the back end because more people got to see me there than any other time before then. And when I went and looked at my numbers of CD sales, and then eventually when my shit winds up going to streaming services,
no, this is the greatest and easy example to explain this is the Super Bowl halftime show.
You read my mind because I was thinking that very same thing.
They don't get paid you
to do
not
that
directly.
You get paid on the back end.
But motherfuckers have learned to either have had an album recently drop or to drop an album soon because everybody's streams and sales skyrocket from that appearance. It is the biggest ad day, maybe worldwide. I know definitely in the US, it's the biggest ad day. Yeah, because eyes are going to be on you.
Facts.
Like
this
easily
thing that
100 million plus.
This thing that GA says here is something that I think people really need to understand. He says, yo, Schultz is big now. He made a lot of money from his YouTube special. He's gone. This is why I think we're seeing who really is now. What you need to understand is money doesn't change you as a person. It reveals you.
Yeah.
There are certain things you won't say. Well, some people, if your character is that way, some things you will not say because it might affect your bottom line. The moment you have all the shit that you need and you're at a certain point where you can't really be affected by negative shit. As a matter of fact, if it's part of your brand, this shit probably helps you more than hurts you. Anyway, with the targeted audience that you have,
right?
People reveal who the fuck they actually are all the time. All the time.
Given what you just said, I was watching Kevin Stage talk about it, and he was like, just like Shits and Gigs' responsibility, the way that they would have protected their audience would have been to say something in that moment.
Right.
Schultz's way of protecting his audiences is to not apologize.
Exactly. That is 100%. Again, Schultz looked after his brand.
Mm-hmm.
He looked after his brand. He looked after his audience. He has an audience that expects him to say shit like that and not apologize.
Mm-hmm.
You goofies have a different audience than he has, and you doing his show is an attempt to sway some of the people who never heard of you from his shit to also watching your shit. You didn't protect your audience. There's a certain way. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Y'all got to keep it 100. I know for me, there's a certain way I have to conduct myself out in this world. Because if some cameras come my way and I'm doing some fuck shit that I know the people that matter see this shit and go, the fuck is you doing? I got to answer to that.
Yep.
I got to answer to that.
Yeah.
So I'm always going to, nigga, I got to go home again. Fuck that. Protect your shit. These motherfuckers can do and say whatever they want to do and say. You should be thinking first and foremost, I got to protect my shit, man.
Yes.
I got to protect my shit.
Because especially because you can't make the claim that this was leisure. No, it was business. The reason you were on this podcast was because of business. Because you made the claim that it was leisure. Now you really fucked up because that means you absolutely know who the fuck he is.
Right.
And you absolutely know the type of shit he be on.
Right.
So you can't make the claim that this was leisure. It was business. So business should have come first. Again,
Facts.
If y'all had no clue who the fuck he was, y'all need to fire y'all manager.
Facts.
Y'all need to fire your manager. If y'all did, this is on you 100%. Because that means that you should have been prepared for any of this type of shit. Again, we're not talking about physical altercations.
No. Prepare for the fact that he's going to say some fuckery and how you're going to respond when he does. Absolutely. Preparation. You know, it's funny. That's the buzzword for this month. Preparation. Being prepared for situations before you get thrust in them. For instance, when we talked about the debate, preparation.
Facts.
Preparation.
All facts.
Preparation matters, man. Like, how did you not watch clips of this man's show before you went on his show? And I think you did. Like I said, this is about revealing. I think you did.
You can't make me believe.
Nah.
That you had no clue.
Nah.
No clue? Come on.
Keep going.
So it's all like, it's disappointing on the one hand. Again, I was never, their biggest fan or anything. I've never sat down and watched an episode of their podcast. I've seen clips here and there. There were things that I saw in some of those clips before this whole thing popped off that led me to stay away from engaging. But that's personal things that, especially one of those things, is something I'm not going to bring up on this podcast. But it's like, y'all built your audience largely through Black women, and the sheer fact that you couldn't give any type of effectual apology. Because here's the thing, and I can't remember who said this. Somebody said, I have never heard an apology that made me feel better. And while I can't say that that's 100% accurate, I agree with the sentiment. There's almost nothing that they could have said that would have appeased everyone. But some people will hear that and look at that as reasons why they shouldn't apologize. No, that is a direct byproduct of you fucking up in the first place. That's what happens. You've done this thing. There's a consequence for that action. The consequence is you're going to lose some of your followers. Now, a percentage of those who you've lost or who are now on the fence, you might be able to convert back to your side with a good enough apology. But there are always going to be those who either you lose immediately when you do the thing, or your apology is so flaccid and tepid that it isn't enough to sway them to stay on your side. And I feel like this is what happened with this. One of the big things is that should kind of show you how the dynamics here work. Again, this was not on their podcast, right?
Right.
Because I saw some dumbass like, hey, y'all are what's the word? Y'all being performative because this happened months ago. What makes you think that the base follower of the Shits and Gigs podcast is also a follower of the Flagrant 2 podcast?
Stop playing. Y'all need to stop playing. Y'all need to stop fucking playing.
Spoiler alert. It's probably very little intersection between the two listenerships. And that
this was outreach. That's why they did it.
To business sense, that makes sense to go on a podcast where the majority of their listeners are probably not a part of your audience already. So you can go ahead and grab some of them potentially.
That's why they do it.
Absolutely.
And something you said earlier, yo, about protecting your audience. I know who my audience is. I know who has supported my endeavors.
Yeah.
If I'm in a situation where somebody is saying some things that I know goddamn well I don't accept as truth, and I know my audience doesn't, because I built my audience being genuine. So they know what the fuck I'm about. If I give no pushback, I think my audience gonna look at me like, yo, he was right there.
At the very least, tell you why you ain't say nothing when
right.
At the very least. So yeah, bro, it's a part of it. It's built into the cake.
Yeah.
So then
I'm not here to disappoint none of you motherfuckers, and I ain't here to disappoint myself either, because I don't want to forever look at that tape and go, damn, why I ain't say?
Because that's how that's supposed to go, right? You're in a business situation, so number 2 on who you don't want to fuck over is your audience. Number 1 should always be yourself. But number 2, when you talk about business, it should be your audience. Like, what are we talking about here? So anyway, moving on. Diddy did that shit and he got away for a long time. Moving on. My bad.
Sorry. So
we can review
my week. Did you know that I have neighbors?
See,
it's true. I have neighbors. My neighbors don't really bother me, and that's a plus, because I'm one of them guys that's friendly without being friendly. Me.
Yeah.
Meaning, good morning.
Right.
Don't say shit else to me. I don't want to talk about whatever football game you watch. I don't want to talk about none of that other shit. Good evening. That's it. That's it. My neighbors mostly comply with that. And because we don't live in a row house type situation,
Right.
space between houses. Whatever noise that goes on over there typically does not bother me at all. I don't really even hear it, honestly, except this week.
Oh.
So apparently,
what kind of mega speakers they got going on that you can hear?
They weren't.
It's a nice little distance.
They weren't in their homes. They were in the backyard.
Okay.
Apparently, somebody was having a 39th birthday party.
Hey,
I knew some shit was happening.
More life.
I knew. Mike is ass. Humans live around you. Exactly. But I knew some shenanigans was going on because I was outside to take trash out, and I see these white tables all in the neighbor's backyard. I'm like, oh. No, first I saw one. I said,
Where one white table is, many are sure to follow.
Well, that was a thought. But the first thought was, that doesn't seem like an appropriate lawn table. But
that's the point.
People do different shit. So I dumped the shit. I dumped the trash, went back in the house. I came back outside for another thing. I saw this one table had multiplied. Like a single-celled organism that split into.
Or the more logical explanation is what I just said. Okay. Continue.
Whatever. So then I started seeing other decorations going out there. They had the lights thing string up. I'm like, oh, they got some shit going on over here.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh.
It's a first. I mean, I've never seen that over there. Like, we've had something over here, but it was during the day, and it was a bunch of old people. It was my mother-in-law and her friend, so it's not like it was going to be something super stupid, right?
No, it was getting rowdy.
No, absolutely not. And it was during COVID, right? So people was distanced and all. It wasn't none of that.
Fine.
It wasn't none of that.
When you gonna have your listening party in your backyard?
That's a good question. I need to have something to listen to though. But I need to have something to listen to. But I go in the house and I start hearing this noise. But I expected it. There'd be some noise. Nah, nigga, nah. It was more than some noise.
Oh.
It was out there getting it in.
I mean,
it's a birthday party, 39th. They're about to go into
millennials.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But my windows were vibrating.
Millennials tend to do that. We have a habit. We're known to vibrate a window or two.
Now, here's the thing. This neighborhood does not have one of those neighborhood associations.
Okay.
However, that does not mean there aren't things here. So it started getting a little late.
Okay. What's a little late?
All right. So for this neighborhood, 9-ish, little after 9.
That tracks.
They were still kind of going and look like y'all going a little. That's a lot of
Cash
noise.
Money Records was still taking over for the 99 and 2000.
They really were. Like, they were on some bad boy shit. They wouldn't stop. At least that's what it seemed like. So my mother-in-law, how can I put this? She is the type where there's only so much of something that she doesn't like that she's going to take before she says something.
Okay.
Right.
Get off your lawn. It was right there.
So I started hearing her make comments about the noise, it rattling the windows, and all of this stuff, and how it's getting late. And so while she was saying this, I knew that the attack dog in this house is typically me.
Yeah.
It's not my son. It's me. Because I'm the curmudgeon. I'm the older man in the house. Also, the way my temperament is set up, if you get one of mine mad, I absorb that rage.
Let's hold up, but let's not leave out the other part.
What's the other part?
She had a problem, and she was about to make it your problem.
I was about to bring that up. Now, me, I'm gonna tell you me. Once I put these headphones on, and I'm either absorbed in some work, the rare time I play video games, or I'm watching some of my YouTube shit on here, the rest of the world be damned.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't even hear the shit that's going on out there. I could care less about it. But as SBJ so brilliantly stated, the problem she had with it, she was about to make give me a problem. And I knew that was coming.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to myself, all right, here's the issue. Here's the issue. When you look out there, it's mostly a bunch of women. Mostly a bunch of white women. Right.
That could be problematic.
Right. So now I got to think about this whole thing before she goes and says it to me. I think about this whole thing. This bald-headed, goatee, 6'1", 248 pound nigga going out there doing what I would have done had there been a bunch of guys out there. Ain't gonna cut it, and I might end up spending the night
next to Diddy. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was already framing the way I was going to approach this if necessary. I was going to go out there, talk to them, but it's really hard sometimes, right? Because you want to have the sternness of this serious, y'all need to whatever. But I also have to balance it between me doing that way and me coming off like Chef or fucking Hawk from Spencer for Hire and shit out that motherfucker, right? I gotta balance that. Well, it turns out I didn't have to do anything.
Okay.
Because there was a cutoff at somewhat a reasonable time. Technically, they didn't do anything wrong. It just looked like they was about to go longer. But no. They shut that shit down. They gave their little hugs. They got the fuck up out of it.
Okay.
So.
What time?
It wasn't even 10 o'clock.
Okay. All right.
It wasn't even 10 o'clock. So, one of the things that showed me is that, because you got to understand something. I've lived in several different types of neighborhoods at this point. The neighborhoods that I grew up in are not like the neighborhoods that I live in now.
Yeah, facts.
Even in those neighborhoods, there is still a certain way you have to talk to people.
Oh, yeah, yeah. For different reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you have accepted the fact that, nah, it's about to be something. So you already, but they would accept more yelling because that's how we give it up. Where it doesn't, the police ain't gonna get called behind that shit.
Yo, Jay said they felt the icy specter of death looming on the horizon. Facts.
Listen, I live in a quasi-comfortable existence. I have had the opposite. I've been in the lockup. I've been down Castle Grayskull. SBJ know what the fuck I'm talking about. Baltimore City Jail. I've been down there. Right? I know contrast and compare. I know the difference.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, I'm sitting here, comfy. My little studio area. Go ahead talking to you guys. Now, that night, I wasn't. That night, I was sitting here, watching my shit, working on some music, making some beats, doing whatever.
Yeah.
You think I wanted to trade that for a cold ass mustard burger and some sugarless coffee.
I mean,
in a
if
holding
that's your
cell.
type of thing. If that's your type of thing, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna shame you.
No thanks.
All right.
I'll pass.
Okay.
It is difficult. I ain't gonna hold you. When you don't come from these type of environments, trying to figure out what to do. But the first thing you have to do is think about it and not react the way you are accustomed to reacting. This is a thing of being able to read the room and checking the temperature or where the fuck you're at.
Yeah.
I could have got away with all that. Man, if y'all don't shut that shit off in Emerson Village.
Yeah.
I come out there and say that shit, boy, let me tell you something. They're going to have SWAT teams surrounding the house.
Yo.
Yo, man, shut that shit off. It's getting late. What? Just saying, like, can't do that. Couldn't do that. So that to me just showed the difference once again in where I live at now. Now, to be honest, I feel like when I lived in Laurel, that was a much more upscale neighborhood than this one.
Right.
And I never had those issues.
Right.
But these neighborhoods were also majority black. We had two Latin families that lived around there. One that lived directly across from my house, and one that lived a couple of doors down that literally turned their garage into a fucking bar.
Mm-hmm.
So when the football games was playing and shit like that, it was down there getting it in. And it was all good. It was all good. All good. But there's a line. And that neighborhood did have a neighborhood association.
Mm-hmm.
Nigga, if your grass was over a certain amount,
right.
You getting letters in your email. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, something shit on, homie.
Right.
Like, what the fuck going on? If you leave your on trash day, you put your trash out in the morning, and after they've collected it, you put that trash cans back in your garage or wherever. If you leave them shits out there till night, you're gonna hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna hear about it because the neighborhood association. Now, as petty as that sounds, I actually kind of like that.
Sure.
Because I've lived in neighborhoods without any sort of well, you know. It gets crazy. It gets crazy. It gets crazy. So I'm not mad at living in a neighborhood that had a neighborhood association. There's got to be some rules around this motherfucker. You know, so absolutely. But even in a neighborhood without one, you still should be able to read the temperature. Like, you still should be able to know, certain ways I'm not going to be able to react here that I would have reacted in other places.
Sure.
My other neighbors on the other side this week, I'm going out there taking my walks. I get around Baltimore Avenue and I'm about to bend the corner to come back around the other way. Who do I see taking a walk this way? The neighbors on the other side. These are old people. Old white people. And show you the amount of awkwardness, even though I've been living around here for a long time now, I'll show you how I don't really fuck with my neighbors like that. Like, hi, how you doing? Go about business. A few years back, when Juneteenth became a thing, was it Juneteenth? Over something. It was one of them. These neighbors, well, the wife went out of her way when she saw me to say, "Oh yeah, congratulations about the Juneteenth being made." I ain't say nothing crazy to her. I just like to go about away, but it was
well-meaning whites.
Yeah, it was fairly awkward. I don't give a fuck about holidays, except for the fact that it's time to do some shit.
Right.
That ain't reparations. Like, I don't know what you motherfuckers thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, but there's an awkwardness. Every time they see me, there's awkwardness. Why? Because It's something. No, I'm telling you, it's something about people coming from vastly different walks of life, different generations. Even before you get to racial stuff, there's something about that. The added part of it, though, is them thinking they need to walk on eggshells.
Yeah.
When they talk to you, it makes things awkward.
Yo, they crossed the street when you started walking towards them?
No, they did not.
Oh, okay.
However, there was the nervous small talk shit.
I hate that shit so much.
You don't gotta do that. You could have just said hi. Said hi, hey, and let me keep
nice day we're having.
You don't need to do that to make me think that you're not something that you're not. I don't. Right. All you could just say hi. Good evening. Good evening. Hey, how you doing? And that's it. Yeah. We good. When we had that little hurricane shit that happened around here, and trees fell on people's houses and all that, I went and checked on everybody.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? We don't need to have that other type of relationship. I don't know that. But we are neighbors. So if shit go down here and somebody potentially hurt or whatever, I'm going to help where I see help needs to be. Yeah. And pretty much that's the whole block. They did the same thing. Everybody got out, checked. Everybody okay? You okay in the house? This, that, another. That's just some neighborly shit to do.
Indeed.
I don't need the other shit. I got plenty of people who I am very magnanimous to, nice to. This is my I joke around. I already got that. Yeah. I got that. All different walks of life. Right?
Correct.
I don't. It's something about my neighbors. I don't really rock with my neighbors in that way. I don't want motherfuckers over my house. I don't want to be over your house.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on your porch. I don't want you on my porch.
Yeah.
I don't want to walk through your lawn and do not walk across my fucking lawn. I don't want that. It's too no. No. Everybody that mattered to me in this block is in this house.
Yeah.
Unless some shit happened and neighbors got to look out for each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's all. And I was the same way in Laurel. There was this older lady that lived down on the far end. It snowed like a motherfucker. She ain't had nobody. She was fucking snowed in. So what me and my son did. We went down there and dug her out.
Yeah.
Because that's what neighbors supposed to do. Now, where did I learn this neighborly shit from? Because trust me when I tell you, the neighborhoods I grew up in didn't necessarily have some of the same.
That's to the same degree.
That's to the same degree, but
your mama might tell you go around the corner and give Miss Richardson a bag of sugar.
Right.
It's
funny you say Miss Richardson because that's literally the name of one of the mamas.
That's funny because that wasn't a random name. That was actually, like, legitimately my grandmother's best friend lived 2 blocks away, and her name was Agnes Richardson.
Yo, they're like, So, you know, like in those particular cases, right? When your mom sends you around there to get such, that's one thing. Look, those kids. I was a kid at the time. I played with her kids. You know, so that's different.
Yeah,
I'm grown now. I don't need this. And you know what's so funny? My mom has always been like that. My mom was never. It's a difference between being neighbors and being neighborly. Right. Like my mom was never on that shit. She ain't had nobody over her fucking house. She wasn't over nobody else's fucking house. Right. And the only time that was the case was when her neighbor was her mama. That's when we lived right next door to my grandmother. All right, that's it.
Same with my grandmother. Or we had on either side of the house, we had neighbors that we were close with. Miss Young, Miss Leach. I've been in Miss Leach's house. I lived at my grandmother's house 7 years. I've been in Miss Young house twice, and I've been in Miss Leach house once.
Yeah, like I'm not that guy as an adult.
Right.
I'm not that guy. As a kid, yeah, you was in your friend's house all the time. But it's just not me, and I get it from my mom because when I look back on it, she was that type. It's bad enough the block gonna be in your business anyway. We live in row houses. Right? The block gonna be in your business, right? But it wasn't one of these things where they had any intimate knowledge of anything that they got from my mama. She wasn't like that. And she still ain't. She still ain't. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm that same way. I don't need to know you like that.
Right.
And I certainly don't need to know you in order to help you if it looked like something you need some help with. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to know you like that to feel like, oh no, let me go over here. But I learned that from TV. A lot of that I learned from TV growing up, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily from the neighborhood because I was helping those people for different reasons. Me and their kids was friends, right? Like we had a relationship, that sort of thing. Like as I got older, I ain't looking for that. Already, I got plenty of relationships. Thanks. We can be high and by. I don't need to know what you did for a living. You don't need to know what I do for one. If you ever saw me on TV at some point in time ago, you look like I'm probably not him. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to know that shit. GA says, that's me in a nutshell. I don't talk to anyone around here. I go out of my way not to. But when my upstairs neighbor ran out of gas, I went and picked her up and took her to get right. I don't need all that other intimate. I need to know about you. I don't need that to be neighborly.
Right.
I'm a neighborly nigga. Like if some bad shit happen that affects the block, I'm going to be out there. Like, yo, all right, so we're going to do to fix this or help this person. But yeah, I'm with that. I'm just not with the other shit. I'm not with the small talk and the knowing about each other. No, first of all, you don't need to know nothing about my past. Nothing. Nothing. You just need to know I'm the nigga that live up the street. Oh, that's the nigga up the street. That's it. That's the nigga across the street. Yup. That's all. You need to know who my wife is, my kids are, who my mother-in-law is. So that they walk down the street, you don't say nothing stupid. Because I'm coming. That's all. You just need to know who this one. Don't say nothing stupid to them. Don't do nothing crazy, whatever, because I'm coming. That's all you need to know.
Phrasing.
Yeah, can't have the Diddy Done title up here and not watch my phrasing and shit.
Yeah.
But other than that, this week has been about creativity. And I had to go down to my wife's job to put together a cabinet. It was very heavy. This big, heavy box. I put it on one of those hand trucks, brought it in the house because it was on the front porch. Then wife came to me and said, yeah, I need this put together down at the office, blah, 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 because I want to put my products in there so that when my clients come in, they can see what else I have to offer in a nice glass case. But the thing was so fucking big, I had to take it out of the box. And part of it had to hang out the window, right, while we was driving down to the thing. So as I'm looking inside the box, I see a mad amount of screws and other assorted parts. Oh, this is a lot of shit right here. And on top of this, it's heavy as a motherfucker. Then I looked at the instruction manual. What do I see? 2 people grinning, putting it together. I said, this is a 2-person job. Now, I'll do it. But it might take me twice as long. Because this is a 2-person job. What up, Discord?
What up?
Just so happens that the parts of the instruction manual where I needed 2 people was only a couple of parts. It really was more than a couple, but the other ones I could fake. I could get that part kind of done. Just had to do some awkward shit with holding the thing this way and about. But wifey, before she started grooming the animals that she had to groom down there, she came and helped hold certain parts up so I could put the screw there and do stuff like that. So that actually made it better. But actually, they said that this was supposed to be a half-hour job with 2 people doing it, right? I wasn't keeping track of how long it took me to do it, but I got finished. It's done. It's fixed. It's down there. One of the she had 2 animals to do some shit to, a pit bull and this other little yip dog, right? All owned by the same woman. Let me give y'all a piece of advice when you get a pit bull or any working dog. Go get them trained.
Yeah.
Go get your working dog trained. Please. Because that's a lot of muscle and a lot of weight to not be trained. Now, this pit was a sweetheart. She was. Absolutely. But she was built like China, the wrestler. All right? This one, that's a lot of weight to not be trained. Sweetheart, though. Love everybody. One of them. But way too muscular and heavy and compact and dense for this thing to be as uncontrollable as it actually was. Now, wifey been doing this for a little while now, so she managed to do what she do, but she still got loose. Doing the bathing process, she still got loose.
Of course.
And ran around the building. And I had to see my wife go out there as she go from room to room and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was funny. But when the owners come back, the dogs are clean, they're groomed, all of that other shit. They hear their parents' voice. And they start wilding. Now, I couldn't see the whole thing because I was behind one of the desks. And it was like a barricade and another door there. But I could hear it. Man, like, get your dogs trained. Please. Yeah. Please. I also will say this as to end my week. You humans don't deserve dogs. You don't. Nobody fucks with us like dogs fuck with us. Nobody fucks with us. We don't fuck with us like dogs fuck with us. That level of excitement, she was only gone about an hour, right? That level of excitement to see mom again was crazy. Ah, mom's back. Look. She was only gone an hour.
Yeah. No, it don't matter. She could have been gone 5 minutes.
You know what I'm saying? Yo,
but they had no different effect.
Yo, it was like she was gone for 15 years, and the dog never thought they would see him again. Then all of a sudden, she comes walking to the door. And the drama was crazy. As I looked at that, it just reminded me of something me and my daughter had said when we watched these shows with the dogs. Humans don't deserve dogs. They don't. They really don't. They have not proven. They have not proven to be sufficiently loyal.
You're not about to get me to still man humans. Nope. Not at all.
We really don't deserve them, bro. They too good for us. They are. They really are. Like that kind of loyalty. You know, this. That dog, as sweet as she was, would have went to the mat cutting bleeding for that woman.
Mm-hmm.
You could have gave her a Ric Flair chop. You're gonna lose your whole hand.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, as sweet as that pet was, she'd tear your ass up. You put hands on mama.
Mm-hmm.
We don't deserve it. But anyway, that
Was it? Was it really?
Yes,
I don't
it was.
believe it.
Oh,
I
it
think you got
was.
me. Yeah, so I have two stories of intrigue.
Wait a minute, hold up. Are these spy stories? Like, are these?
They could have been. They could have been.
H.P. Lovecraft type stories? Are you
In
dealing with
a different time?
Abominations?
At a different time, they may have been. Nah, one of them is an update. So we've been talking about this project that I had to do at work. And the fact that I was like, oh, let me incorporate some Chat GPT into this project. Mm-hmm. So the last update I gave y'all was that I was 98% done. Right. That 98% was actually 100 because I just didn't do the other part because.
So wait a minute,
no, not really. Fuck. Go ahead.
Wait a minute, you used for Omni for that?
Yeah.
And
the thing,
PDFs to that, though, right?
Yeah, the thing that wait, no, hold up. Let me get to it. Let me get to that. I'm going nigga. So, like I said, I said I was 98%. That ended up actually being 100 because the 2% that I hadn't done, I just didn't do. And I sent it to my boss, and she was like, oh, "Okay." Well, actually, she walked by me. She thought she was going to get me.
Let me get some more water. Keep going, though. I can hear you.
She walked by me, and she's like, hey, is there any progress on some? All I heard was, is there any progress on something? I said, progress on what? She said, on the Excel thing. I'm like, oh, yeah, here it is. You do this, blah, blah, blah. Boom. All you got to do is make sure they're in this folder, double click on this batch file. It's done. The thing pops up. She's like, oh, okay. All right, send that to me so that I can check it against the other thing to make sure that all the automations that are needed are done. So I'm like, all right, bet. Well, she says to me, actually, I'll get to that. So I get back to work Monday. Well, no, she said that on, I think, that was a Wednesday. So during that time, she's looking at it, and a thing led to me having more work to do on it, which I'll say that later. But so, funny enough, I think I saw it Sunday that there was a new version, a new model for ChatGPT. Came out while I was on vacation. This model, matter of fact, let me see if I can see the things it promises. Okay, introducing. Crap, where did it go? There we go. Introducing OpenAI 01 Preview, new series of reasoning models for solving hard problems. Available now. Now, remember, sometimes GA, so what happens with me, I don't do it that often. What happens with me when I do that is because either sometimes I don't fully understand what they're actually asking me, given the context of what we're talking about already. But then sometimes it's like the part of my brain that intakes audio work faster than the part of my brain that processes the audio. So the part of my mouth the brain would say things out of my mouth that went before my processing was finished. So that sometimes happens. So let me read this. They put an update. I'm going to skip the update because
what update? They put an update to
no,
01?
No, there's an update to the article that introduces 01.
Okay.
But I'm going to skip that update because that wasn't there initially. Yeah. It says we developed a new series of AI models designed to spend more time thinking before they respond. They can reason through complex tasks and solve harder problems than previous models in science, coding, and math. Now, what we were talking about, all the times that I talked about it on here, where it doesn't do well with reasoning, and what I was using it for is coding. So when I saw this, I was like, God damn it, if this would have been out when I was doing this shit, it wouldn't have been so hard to do. Slowly roll. Hold on. So today we are releasing the first of this series in our API. This is a preview, and we expect regular updates and improvements. Alongside this release, we're also including evaluations for the next update, currently in development. How it works. We train these models to spend more time thinking through problems before they respond, much like a person would. Through training, they learn to refine their thinking process, try different strategies, and recognize their mistakes. That is very important. In our test, the next model update performs similarly to PhD students on challenging benchmark tests in physics, chemistry, and biology.
And this ain't even the whole thing either.
We also found that it excels in math and coding. In a qualifying exam for the International Mathematics Olympiad, GPT-4 Omni correctly solved only 13% of problems, while the reasoning model scored 83%.
That's crazy.
First of all, maybe that's a good jump. Actually, I'm going to say maybe. That's a good jump. You should have never publicly released something, in my opinion, that could only answer 13% of math questions that you asked it.
I think the reason they did is because the benchmarks for everything else was so high.
No, I think the reason they did it is because of capitalism.
Well, that has something to do with it, sure, but
nigga, yo, because think about it, right? You haven't done enough PR work to be able to release these models the way that you have released these models. That's what I'll say, because we as humans already have an understanding of what robots do. Now, whether we're right or not doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But we already have an understanding of what robots do. And one of those things is rote. One of those things is science, math, things that don't require any creative addition to it. A robot should be able to do.
It's been just the opposite with this whole experience.
And it's been just the opposite with this entire experience. So that's why I say that their PR doesn't match what the reality is in order to make these people understand that that's not how this really works. But anyway, I'm not going to continue reading the rest of this. I might come back to the update. Blah, 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 blah. Update. What day was that update? All right, we might or might not come back to that.
It's coming to Discord. Because
absolutely.
The things that I've seen people using the new preview model for, I'm talking people in the science areas. Yeah, like it. I did some code. I can't code. I did some coding with it the other day.
Discord, I'm sure it's here already. It just may not have reached us. So this model claims to be better at reasoning. This is me now. I'm not reading the press release anymore. This model claims to be better at reasoning with specific improvements in things like math problems and coding. Given what I had just gone through with making this macro for work before this model came out, I had to test it through.
Of course you did.
I'm like, oh shit, let's see how much easier my life would have been.
And we always stress test the new.
Oh yeah. As soon as the models come out, we gotta see what the issue is. So, and it's a slightly mixed bag, leaning toward not being a useful update for what my purposes were. It just is what it is. That might be a little strong. It isn't a night and day improvement as far as the experience goes. Would probably be a better way to say that. All right, so I'll give it credit. They seem to deliver on most of what I saw advertised, even if to varying degrees.
Right.
It definitely seems to understand coding languages and their syntax better. Seems to. It also seems to not need as much hand-holding while coming up with code to use. Specifically in that when I've checked, it won't give optimization tips on code that it's just given to me. See, previously,
wait a minute. So I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
It gave you code for something
Mhm.
you was trying to get code for.
Mhm.
And then after you got that, did you ask it to go back over the code to find errors?
Yes.
Or
well. So previously, with prior models, when I would ask it for code, it would give me code. If I asked it to assess this code and optimize it, give me any tips for optimization, it would have a bunch of suggestions.
Interesting.
With this, when I got the code from it and then asked it to assess for optimization, it said, no, this code looks pretty good.
That's crazy.
So that's a good good update.
That's kind of what it did.
What up, McKenna?
What up, McKenna? That's kind of what it did for me.
So that's why I say it seems like it understands the languages and the syntax and all that other shit better.
So basically, it's like, no, nigga, it's straight.
Yeah, this is this. So, but we still
yeah. That shit.
So that leads me to believe that it gives the code that it already believes is the best code to solve the problem that it's trying to solve.
Right.
Instead of just randomly assuming or randomly picking a way to solve this problem.
Right.
So one thing that I didn't
think that this is
it believes that this is the code that's going to work for you. One thing I didn't see advertised that I absolutely love is that it seems that the amount of input and output has drastically increased. Yeah. I have not run into an issue where I ask it for the full code for the macro and it cuts off while generating.
Right.
Not a single time during this process that I've been using it did it cut off my code. It always completed the code. That's a major improvement. Major improvement.
Sure.
Transitioning into the problems now. So that extended context window that I just mentioned may have actually led to more issues. For instance, it still introduces faulty code. And when I gave it an error that the code just provided in its previous response, it told me how to find the error instead of fixing the error that first time. With the old models, if you did that, it would give you the replacement code. So that's one thing. It will also still waste context window space by giving you things you didn't ask for.
Facts.
And then giving the wrong thing. When I asked why it didn't just fix the issue, it told me where the issue was, gave me the updated subroutine, and then gave me what it called the full updated macro. The problem is that macro didn't have the full updated code. It had placeholders in a bunch of places. Another issue is that it's slower. Now, yes, it advertises that is built in, that is a part of it. It's taking time to reason. Right.
And you can, well, you don't see all of it. They're giving you summarized.
Yeah, you can click the little thing and it will show you what it's going through.
These are summarized. They're not giving you the actual thought process. Yeah. And the reason I think they're doing that is proprietary reasons. They don't want reverse engineer that shit, and then I think that's what it is.
So yeah, like I said, it advertises that it's going to be slower, but that's supposed to be one of the things that makes it better.
Yeah,
that extra time is supposed to be dedicated to reasoning.
Yeah.
But given the problem it still has, and the fact that the amount of time it tells you it has been thinking versus the actual amount of time that you have to wait for it to start generating an answer, it often doesn't match. So I got to count this as a negative.
Right.
Another issue I ran into, which I can only assume is me finally reaching the limit of how big a single input can be, is it told me that what I was trying to do, quote, potentially violated. No, actually, let me read it. That your request was flagged as potentially violating our usage policy. Please try again with a different prompt.
Wait a minute. So, to get this straight, you asked it to do something, and then they gave you this notification. Now, I have gotten this notification, not quite saying the same thing.
Yeah.
For when I write some of my lore. I write the lore, and I put the lore in PDF, and then I put it in ChatGPT, and I'm going through the lore with ChatGPT's help format shit, looking for contradictions, logical inconsistencies, things of this nature, right? Yeah. It will read over my shit, then give me what I asked for as output, but then give me this notification saying this might go again.
Yes, that's different. So what you're experiencing is it looking at the content of what you have, and it's saying this might not be safe.
Right.
No, with this, it's telling me, even though it doesn't say this exact words, what it's telling me is your input was too long.
Oh shit!
because what was my prompt? It was me telling them they did something wrong, giving them the full macro again, and telling them to change a string that was being searched for. That's what got me that error. So when I edited the prompt by just removing the macro, which, by the way, they largely constructed, it worked.
Oh.
But then we reached the most egregious issue, which is less, I imagine, less an issue of the model itself and more an issue of the fact that it's a preview. I have to imagine, is you have 5 responses left. If you hit the limit, responses will switch to another model until it resets on September 23rd.
They did increase the rate, though. They increased up
the problem with that. The problem with that is it was only September 19th. Nigga, it was only September 19th. What do you mean September 23rd? Yo, it wasn't a 2-hour, 4-hour. No, it was a 4-day. What do you mean?
I had that, but you know what? Here's the thing. I think it was capping, right? Because this was on the 12th. And it told me I wouldn't be able to use it again until the 19th. Like, what the fuck? But that wasn't true because I used it the next day. So I don't know if that's when they increased the rates. I don't know. But
did it tell you that if you reached the limit, or did it tell you that you have reached the limit?
It told me I had reached the limit and I wouldn't be able to use it again.
I'm glad you say that. So, actually, I'll get to that. The next issue is it doesn't have code interpreter, which is the feature that allows you to upload files and download files and analyze what you've uploaded.
Sucks, bro.
In this regard, it's worse than Claude because I can't even upload a screenshot for it to describe.
They need to add. I know it's just a preview, but they really need to add the file thing up there ASAP. Because that shit makes it almost for my use cases unusable.
Nigga, for what I was doing, it made it so much more difficult.
Yeah,
I'll get to that. So my boss. So the reason I ended up messing with this was because my boss figured out some more functionality that she wanted the macro to have. So that's how I ended up with all of the testing I've done to that point. Right. So when I saw this issue, and because I had already achieved everything I originally intended to, I figured, why not start from scratch? Because I already have the full code that works for what I was doing before. I already have that backed up. So let's start from scratch, because I thought that maybe a barrier to this model working smoothly could possibly be that it didn't start the code.
Right.
And I was thinking maybe it was just that much better of a coder than both the previous model and myself that it couldn't be bothered to work with what I already had. Maybe that was possible.
Right.
Well, I started over and I gave it explicit instructions. It followed most of them. I think we've talked about ChatGPT's propensity to waste context window space by randomly writing code.
Yeah, I don't like all of that bullshit. No, stop wasting my shit. Stop wasting my shit, for real.
What up, Clay? Bowflex.
What up, DJ?
If there's a different one, I haven't seen it. When I was using it for this, when I was using the Claude, I was seeing the code on the side. So I don't know if it's different than if what you're talking about is different than that. I don't know. Yeah, but when I was using it, it was showing the code on the side.
That update, I think, was a couple of months ago. So
okay, yeah. So yeah, I've seen that. So one of the instructions that I gave it was never write code unless specifically asked to. I, of course, had to put more effort into my first couple prompts because I couldn't upload the file and I couldn't upload a screenshot to aid in explaining what I was trying to accomplish.
Right.
So I asked it to give me any questions it had that would stop it from making assumptions. It left a couple out and just assumed anyway. It got to the point of giving me the first part of the macro and several problems popped up. So in my instructions, I explained that I wanted a main subroutine that would call the other subroutines, and each task I give it to accomplish should be put into its own subroutine.
Right.
What this does is make the code more readable and make it harder to introduce code that would break something that was already accomplished. Even after having all of that context, it suggested that I I disable updating on the worksheet to make things go smoother as I'm making changes and to enable it once everything was over. I said, cool, go ahead and implement that. So instead of it having this code bracket the calls to the other subroutines, it put that code into one of the other subroutines. That is inefficient, and it is effective. And it is effectively writing code for the sake of writing code. Right. Because if you only put it in one of the subroutines, that means you have to put it in every subroutine. Instead, you could have just put it in the main subroutine, and it would have took care of everything.
Right.
So that is a mistake that older versions that aren't supposedly optimized for things like coding already were making.
Right.
Another error it made was in the code itself. So it defined some variables in a way that didn't match how those variables were being used. I ran the code. I got that error. I told it the error. It gave me new code. 3 problems. 1, I didn't explicitly tell it to give me code. If it were following instructions, it would have found where the error was and told me how to fix it.
Right.
2, not only did it give me the new full macro, but it also had sections in its response with just the exact code that it changed. That's redundant for you to do both of those things, and it's just eating up my fucking usage.
Well,
3,
did you try the mini?
After,
because they're telling me even though it's mini, it's a better. They saying for a lot of shit, it's a better model. But again, to me, it didn't make a difference because I can't use PDFs.
Yeah,
I need to use.
I feel like
people
might be saying that it's better because it's faster.
That could be it. Because they were saying that about full Omni at one point.
Yeah, and it's absolutely not better.
It's not better than full.
No,
full Omni is not. It's just faster.
No, right. So 3, and the most egregious issue here was I ran the code that it gave, and it didn't even fix the fucking error.
Damn it.
So the next thing I told it was to check the current code for mistakes. It found more instances of the same error and supposedly fixed them all. It gave me the new code. I ran the new code. I still got the same fucking error. So I manually fixed the remaining 2 variables. I told it that, and I had it update the code with the fix.
Right.
Moving forward, I had it fix an issue that I caused by not being detailed enough to it. Right. This was, and then after that, that was all step 1, and step 1 was finally complete. Like, cool, bet. The entire process with breaks in between and getting up and bullshitting and was probably like 3 hours.
So let me ask you this. If you had attempted to do all of this, taking the same breaks, all that other shit, from a time efficiency standpoint, would this have been still quicker or would it have been roughly the same?
So, because so let me tell you the thing I was working on. The part that she wanted to add was there was a separate Excel spreadsheet that had data that needed to be transferred to the main sheet. So I'll give you all of the scenarios. Doing this manually would have been faster, but that only would have been doing it once.
Yeah.
So obviously that's not the winner. Coding it myself without the help of, coding it myself with using ChatGPT for troubleshooting would have been faster than this. It would have been faster than doing it the way that I was doing it.
Right.
But I was stress testing. I wasn't.
Right.
Exactly. It wasn't like if there was a deadline to this, that's probably the route I would take is doing the code myself and using ChatGPT to troubleshoot.
Right.
And then obviously doing it myself without ChatGPT at all would have taken longer than that because I would have had to look things up. Like I've never worked with VBA and Excel, so there are Excel things that I don't know. So I would have had to look those up individually, separately.
Right.
Yeah, so that would have took more time. And doing it the way that I did with this model versus 4.0, in time, I don't see much of a difference. And the reason that is because I've only done one step. This wasn't me doing the whole thing. And I know now better how to communicate with ChatGPT when it comes to coding,
right?
Compared to when I first started trying to do it with 4.0. I mean, 4 Omni.
Right.
So I feel like if I had the same knowledge now as I'm sorry, if I had the same knowledge when I started doing it with 4 Omni as I do now, it would have taken way less time with 4 Omni than what this has done. This seems like an update in ways. But in other ways, it seems like it's not enough of an update to be called an update. Like there are a couple changes, but like if you're still giving me wrong code,
that's true.
What are we like? And not because it's one. Like I said, there was one thing that was messed up. That was messed up because I didn't explain properly. That's one thing. You giving me bad code because you got to get bad intel. That's not your fault. That's my fault.
That's true.
But when we're talking about using a dictionary, and when you use a dictionary, variables can't be defined as long or integer. They have to be defined as variants. You should know that. That's syntax. That has nothing to do with my project. That is a thing that is inherent to the code library that you're working with. So you should already know that. And there were so many variables that it defined incorrectly, that when I went to ask it to fix it, it fixed the first one.
Right.
And then I ran it again and it still got this error. And I said, okay, look through the code and find all the examples and fix them. It fixed all of them except for 2. And it's like, but I was more specific that time. I gave you exactly what needed to be done, and you still didn't complete everything. And you still didn't complete the task. So it's promising.
So what I've read the other day was that the preview we got is incomplete, and that we're supposed to get a more completed one, supposedly, in October. Like that's what I saw. So I would suggest to people who are into this space, like we are, to manage your expectations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because a lot of this is about saving face with investors, saying because there's other competition out there that is releasing things. They need to be releasing things. So maybe they released it as a preview, even though which means basically it wasn't ready completely to be released. There are things that need to happen on the back end services part, but they wanted to release something to be in the conversation.
Yep.
There are a lot of open source models out there, which I won't say are better, but I'll say that they are comparable depending on your use cases, right? My particular use case with a lot of this stuff is in the creative space. It helps me organize my creativity. There are other tools that are used that use the API of these models that I also use for creative purposes, right? But you got to know what your particular use case is.
Yeah, that's important.
What you're going to be using this for mostly.
What would benefit you the most for your main use case would be for it to improve on hallucinating.
Yep.
Because it doesn't need to find information. You're giving it the information.
I'm giving it the information. So I don't need, like, I'll give an example. It literally made up a whole motive for one of my characters that's not in the text.
Right.
It extrapolated certain assumptions from the text and then embellished it even further to the point where the motive was unrecognizable from the curtains, and you got to check it. Hey, excuse me, this is not part of the whatever. Now, some people will say to you, well, if you give it enough data, it'll do it. No, because
that's still not true.
That's not true for the simple fact that it will still hallucinate and mess up things and not put things in the proper sequence or order. It'll still do that. You still have to be a nanny. You still have to oversee what the fuck is happening there with a lot of these things. But
you talking about give it enough. Listen, I gave it the steps that I wanted it to take, right? And I think it was 4 of them.
Right.
We got to completing step 1. And when I said, let's move on to step 2, one of the questions it asked me was, what order do you want these to be in?
Right.
But I gave you the order already.
It's right there.
It's right there.
And that is the level of frustration. But I think some of the frustration we have is because we are spoiled. Because the amount of work this still allows me to do to organize shit and format shit and do all of this stuff, it would have required me to have a kind of a staff of people to do that shit. And nowhere near that. But I'm spoiled now. I'm expecting even this shit here, you're supposed to be nailing, especially if your developers give me a whole spiel about how this is something you're capable of doing.
Exactly.
I'm expecting you to be able to do that shit.
Yeah.
Period.
Then matter of fact, let me see if I can find that. So I had one conversation with this motherfucker, and I'm like, "What are you doing? Why do you think that's?"
Tell them also about Notebook LM.
No, I don't want to tell them about that.
Wait.
We don't wait on that. I want to see what I want to see 1 or 2 updates.
Yes, if they update, because
I want to see 1 or 2 updates before we really get into that. So this is the conversation I had with For Omni. I said, "Hey, can I upload audio?"
They laughed at you.
No, it said yes. You can upload audio files here. Just go ahead and upload the file, and I'll assist you with it. Right? So I uploaded MP3. I said, "Give me all of the info that you are capable of giving me about this file. Here's the detailed information from your audio file. Duration, 216.58 seconds, approximately 3 minutes and 36 seconds. Frame rate, 44.1 hertz. Channels, 2 stereo. Sample width, 2 bytes. Max dBFS, maximum amplitude, negative 2.03 dBFS. If you need further analysis or modifications, feel free to let me know." Motherfucker, I told you to tell me everything. I told you to tell me everything that you can extrapolate from this. But anyway, I said, okay, what is the audio of? I don't have the capabilities to directly interpret or listen to the audio files. However, I can help you extract details like transcribing speech if the file contains dialogue or other forms of audio analysis. Would you like me to transcribe any speech or provide additional analysis based on the audio content? I said, do everything you can.
Yo, I'll be hitting it with some of that shit too. Like if I'm using a text to video sort of program, and then it gives me, like I said, I use a GPT that's supposed to specialize with that. It's when I give it what I want it to do, it starts asking me all these stupid ass questions. Like, look, you figure that out, right? Cinematic HD.
Right.
You figure that shit out.
So I said, do everything you can. It says, it seems I do not have access to the required tools for speech recognition at the moment. However, you can try transcribing the audio using external tools or platforms that support speech-to-text processing, such as Google Docs, Otter AI, or other transcription services. If you would like further assistance with any other analysis, feel free to let me know. But you just told me you could transcribe it. You just told me that you could transcribe. You just said that. You literally just said that. Yeah. So, like, this type of shit, like, some of the bugs that I mentioned about the preview are understandable and acceptable. They're just disappointing.
Yes.
This is fucking unacceptable. You should know what you're capable of.
Yeah.
The model itself should be aware of the model itself.
Right.
You shouldn't. You give me the suggestion, oh, I can't directly interpret, but I can help you extract details like transcribing speech.
Right.
All right, do everything you can. It seems I don't have access to the required tools for speech recognition. What do you mean? Okay, transcribe for me. I currently don't have the ability to transcribe audio directly, but you can use some excellent external tools.
Yo,
that's not what I asked you.
Oh, and you know what? That exact thing actually happened. So I was trying out Gemini Advanced, Gemini Live, right? And this is Google's this is their response to the advanced voice model or voice mode that OpenAI has had the staggered release for, that they did the whole demo for, and Scarlett Johansson. It's not. It has some things that's comparable, but it's not what we saw in that demo, right?
Not at all.
But here's the thing. It told me it could do something.
Mm-hmm.
And when I asked it, okay, so let's try that. Well, apparently I can't. Nigga, right. You just told me.
You just said.
You just said. What
it's the response that I'm responding to.
Yes. So this is a thing that's happening with the current models.
Yeah.
And they have to fix that, because don't tell me you can do some shit and then I go to do it and you go, oh, I can't do that.
Right. Especially when I'm paying money.
Especially when I'm paying money. This ain't
if it's free, all right.
It is what it is. But you ain't Charlie Clips and that whole psych, I lied shit. Nah, I ain't with it.
Yeah, fuck with it. So moving on. I had a run-in with customer service again. Customer service is terrible. Listen, I need a raise. The reason I need a raise.
You just got one like last year, a year before last, or some shit. Man.
I get raises every year. That's not the point. The reason I need a raise is because my customer service experience for tech support blows these fucking companies out of the water. It's not even close. Right. It's not even night and day. It's like marbles to oceans. Right. Like, there's no comparison. We're not even doing the same fucking thing. Anyway, so Chrissy and I decided to open up an account for like just random fun shit that we do. I'm not 100% sure, but I guess if I had to, that it stemmed partially from I got a credit card specifically for trip spending,
right?
For us. So we decided on Capital One for the account because we both already have accounts with them. And we know other people with Capital One that haven't expressed any complaints. Right. Now, as you can probably guess, since I'm bringing up something so seemingly innocuous, clearly this didn't go smoothly. So,
you don't say.
She opened the account and went to add me as a joint user. In order to do that, she needed my email. I give her my email. She puts it in the thing. Capital One sends me a link through email. And then there's an application to fill out.
Right.
When you open the link, it asks if you have an account already, because signing in will make the application process quicker for you. All right, bet. Sign in. And it makes me verify by opening the app on my phone and accepting permission. No problem. I go to the notification, click the notification, it opens the app. Asks, is this you trying to log on such and such and such? Yes.
This you?
Okay. I go back to the web page. There are a couple fields that aren't automatically filled in. So I fill on the application. So I fill those in. And I get to the final screen. You know, I do the disclaimers and all that other shit. I get to the final screen, click on the submit button, and get an error message saying, we hit a snag. Okay. So it tells me to try again later. I was at work at this time. I tried about 5 more times throughout the day. Same result. I told Chrissy, and she said she ran into that once and it eventually let her through. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna just keep trying it. Maybe there's a glitch in the system right now, some shit like that. I'm gonna keep trying it. So also though, the verification thing that they do when adding a funding source where they make like a sub $1 deposit to the account so you can verify that that's the right account. That was taking a while for them to do too. So this is Qualys. I'm like, okay, something wrong with the system right now. It's running a little slow. We'll give it time. So the next day, she shows me that verification thing went through. I'm like, all right, cool. Oh. Let me try my application again. Oh. Still got the same error. We had a snag. All right, so we had a bunch of stuff to take care of that day. So I made a list. And on that list was calling Capital One to get it situated. Because there are only a couple branches in our area and all of them close at 5. So there's no way we could have both gone to the Capital One branch. So we had to call. We were stuck with calling. If you listen to the episode that happened right before we moved, or maybe the episode before that or after that, then what I'm about to say will sound familiar. It's crazy how this coincidence played out too. It's absolutely ridiculous. So on this phone call, we talked to a foreign guy who was seemingly helpful, but had crucial gaps in their comprehension. Then he transferred us to another foreign guy that was just as delusional. Then he transferred us to a black woman who was immensely helpful and knowledgeable, but just simply couldn't solve our problem because it wasn't her department.
Right.
That makes you feel worse about the foreign guy before her because why the fuck would you send me to somebody who can't fix my problem?
Exactly.
So she sends you with all of your information so you don't have to explain it to the next person to a foreign woman. This foreign woman seems to fix the problem that popped up, which isn't actually what you called for. So she sends you to someone else. This is the exact thing that happened when I tried to move my Comcast account from my apartment to here. It's the exact same sequence. There was more to this, though. So the first dude was walking us through the issue we called for, which was we were trying to add me as a joint user on the account that Chrissy had opened up. That was the issue we called for. He verified all of Chrissy's information and then asked me to verify my information. When I gave him my social, he gave me a username that I was not using for my current Capital One account. Now, looking back, this would have taken a lot longer had I not been a professional troubleshooter. It immediately let me know that this was the problem. But you know, a lot of customer service people have scripts they follow, and they will not deviate from the fucking script to save their lives. Yep. So what I realized is that I had already had an account with Capital One before the current account that I had. That account had a credit card on it and my auto loan on it. I messed up that card. It was way before I knew what I was doing about credit. So that card has long been closed. I paid off my car loan. That loan has long been closed. After I paid off my car loan is when I got my credit together. That process involved me getting a credit card from Capital One, and I still have that card to this day. But something happened when I signed up for that card, and for some reason, they made me create a new account. But I thought that those accounts were fucking merged because that would only make sense. That would only make sense. Regardless of what I thought, there should be no.
It doesn't matter what you think.
There should be no way that it's possible that a credit card that I'm currently using and paying should be on an account that my social security number is not linked to.
Facts, bro.
How the fuck did I get the credit card?
Right.
You have to give them your social security number. Like, what are we talking? Anyway, so this is how that conversation goes. He says there's only one account connected to your social security number. I say, how is that possible when I use this credit card and make payments on it every week? He says there's only one account. I said, well, I am looking at a Capital One credit card in my hand that I just used this morning with my name on it. He says, yes, this account has a credit card and a debit card. He says those words. I say, well, that's not possible because I have never had a bank account with you guys. His response was, I didn't say debit card. I said credit card. Chrissy and I just look at each other like, this motherfucker here. But it's not worth going back and forth with him.
Exactly.
So I say, okay, how do we resolve this? He said, you need to change your password on this old account. I say, okay. Now, mind you, I should not have had to do that. But I did it. And he was telling me to try to do the invite again. Same thing, didn't work. He ends up transferring us to another person who was supposed to deal with the credit card side of things. Because though that's the account that I have open with Capital One, a credit card. Mm-hmm. I explained to him what was going on, the new person, which I should not have had to. Because why the fuck didn't you tell them what was happening? But anyway, I explained to him what was going on, and he immediately got it wrong.
Damn it.
I told him my social security number is not connected to my current active account in your system.
Right. He
asked me for the card number. I give him the card number. He asked me for the name on the card. I give him that. He asked me for the CCV number. I give him that. He asked me for the last 4 of my social. I give him that. And this motherfucker had the nerve to come out of his mouth and say, that social is not coming up for this card. No shit. I told you that at the beginning of our conversation. I said, I have this card that is active and my social security number apparently is not connected to this account. Why the fuck would you expect the last 4 of my social to match the fucking card?
He was wilding.
What is happening? So after going back and forth with him, he eventually transfers me to the black lady. And that's when I picked up on it. When she answered the phone, I was like, oh, this is going to be a wild situation. When she answered the phone, I was like, I'm nowhere near the end of solving this issue.
Nope.
Because again, I remembered the order of people that I was transferred to with the Xfinity thing. So I instantly felt a profound sense of dread. So I tell her all the information. She completely understands instantly. She identifies what needs to happen. She just couldn't do it herself because it was not her department. So she gives the issue and all of my information to the next person she's about to transfer me to. She stays on the line throughout that transfer. Matter of fact, when she said she was going to transfer me, she put me on hold. I said, Chrissy, this is crazy, but the next person that's going to be on the phone is going to be a foreign woman.
And they shall catch
my.
She
said, how do you know? How do you know? I said, because it's exactly what happened to me with Comcast. I'm not saying that they use the same call centers or whatever. What I'm saying is it is an enormous coincidence. However, it's still what the fuck happened.
Is it really a coincidence though?
To imagine. I can only imagine that this is just a coincidence. There's no way that this it's not like it was the same names.
Names were changed to protect
shut
the
fuck up. So like I said, she transfers me. She stays on the line through the transfer in order to make sure that the other lady understands everything and all that other stuff. Then she goes. Gotta love black women. Just gotta love them. That's how you do it, shits and gigs. That's how that works. Anyway, while I was on hold, I'm sorry. Now I'm on the phone with the foreign lady who seems to understand what's going on. She says she made the change and it would take time for that particular change to happen. All right, cool. Now, nobody to this point told me this absolutely had to be done before we can join accounts. By the time I got to the black lady, I was so annoyed that I never even told her about the joint account part. So she couldn't have told me that. So I asked the foreign lady to send me back to somebody who could help with that part. And again, she didn't say to me that this process had to be finished before that process. No, she just said, okay, and transferred me to the next person. So I'm on to the next person, and she seems to understand. I go through the process. She tells me to try the application again. I go through the process again. And this time when I got to the end, instead of saying we hit a snag, it says there is no invite for this account.
Well,
first of all,
that's a snag.
Follow the fucking link. I didn't just randomly put this address into my browser. I followed the link that was sent to my email. What do you mean there's no whatever? So I tried to do it with the old account. It said the same thing. So I explained to the lady what has happened thus far, which again, I shouldn't have had to because the fucking foreign lady should have told her these things.
You know, the thing that's funny about all of this is you sit here and retell this, is I keep thinking to myself, could AI have done worse?
You stupid.
I'm just saying.
It could have hallucinated. But outside hallucinating, no, I don't think it could have done worse than what actually happened. Than what actually transpired on this fateful day. So I explained to her everything that happened so far. She says, oh, okay, I see the problem. You were just on with the people who deal with credit cards. I said, yes. She said, okay, can I put you on a brief hold? Right? So the whole music is going. Me and Chrissy sitting there.
First of all, stop asking me if you can put me on a brief hold when you're going.
Because there's no point of you asking. Yeah, there's no point of you asking. So we sitting there, the music playing. We waiting for her to come back. When the whole music stopped, we hear the robot that asked you for your information when you first called.
Excuse me, that's Robit.
Whatever. She had transferred us again. Now, I will give her points for transferring. She did transfer us to the right department. I'll give her that.
Right.
But it would have been nice to know that we were fucking being transferred.
Yeah.
The last lady that we got to was amazing and made them all look even shittier than they already did, except for the black lady, of course. Apparently, only one person to this point had written any notes on the account as to what they had done. I'm going to assume that was the black lady. Mm-hmm. The simple solution to the two accounts thing was simply merging the accounts, which Chrissy and I had long said, but no one else offered as an option. My social security number was now showing on both accounts, which meant that the lady who fixed it didn't know what she was doing completely, as she told me that would take days to happen.
Right.
Sadly, the way that they had things set up, I can't join the account without my login. So I couldn't just fill out the application. No, I had to log in because I have an account, which is stupid. I imagine that's to avoid things like this, though, where people end up with more than one fucking account. So, okay, sure, maybe. Also, because it's a checking account and not a savings account, for some reason, I have to be the one to accept the invite. If it was a savings account or a credit card, they would have been able to do it for me, which I don't really understand. Mm-hmm. Doesn't really make sense, but whatever. So, but like I said, the last lady, she was extremely helpful. She knew what she was doing. She was probably some type of manager or something, I have to imagine, because of the way she reacted to the story that we were telling her, like, oh, we got transferred this many times. Why would they transfer you so many times? Oh, right. Yeah, such. Well, and I'm looking at this, and only one person wrote notes. What are they doing? Like, so it seems like she was some type of manager or something. So hopefully, all of them got reprimanded. Because what the fuck are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Y'all what? Why I don't want to be on the phone with y'all in the first place?
Facts.
Why not make this process as smooth and easy for everybody? And why are you sending me the people that don't got shit to do with what's going on?
Facts.
Oh, shit. McKenna says, can AI do worse? Yes. Some insurance companies are already using AI to process claims and denying some of the most basic stuff. Someone's insurance company denied paying her doctor for a physical despite waiting for the rest of the... This is another thing I don't like about StreamYard. Waiting for the rest of Oh, God. So she was like, all right, well, unfortunately, I can't do this for you. You have to be the one to do it. She tried to walk me through merging them. For some reason, it wouldn't let me. She was like, don't worry, that's not a problem. You can, she says, denied insurance for the doctor for her physical, despite being in the same office with the same doctor and the same blood work as last year. The company's only solution was to wait and let it try to fix it. See, yeah, no, that's not cool.
See, it's not cool. And also, what it shows is that while there are some things that this shit is absolutely super useful for,
Yeah.
Y'all need to slow down the pace of trying to implement it in
absolutely.
a lot of vital infrastructure. Because the reason why is, first of all, for the customer service aspect of it is that's ass. And two,
that's ridiculous. She said there was no way that they could actually fix it themselves. That's not acceptable.
No,
at this stage in what AI is capable of, there should absolutely be a human override option.
Yo, that's what I mean. Like y'all jumping the gun with a lot of it. I am a proponent of the technology, 100%. Yes. But I feel like if the purpose is to make things better and work better, you're defeating the purpose with that. And also, you're for the companies, the developers, you're fucking up your brand. By having shit, because people have enough bad experiences with something, they automatically assign a negative connotation to the technology and shit. And you don't need to have that, because Hollywood already spent an inordinate amount of years scaring the bejesus out of motherfuckers about this technology with Skynet and Ultron and all this other shit. So y'all need to slow down. Like, it's certain shit that absolutely this works for. Other shit, it ain't ready for that yet. And why are you trying to speed up when development is already moving at lightning quick? You can just fucking wait 2 years. We already done seen what shit started out looking like 2 years ago and what it looked like now. So just wait a couple of years, right, before doing that shit. Like,
absolutely.
Y'all doing too much.
Y'all wildin'. So yeah, she was like, once I was getting an error trying to do it myself, she was like, hey, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. I can do it on my end. It's just going to take longer. Yeah. What she said worked. She was like, all right, here's the thing. I just submitted it. It may take up to 5 business days. It may be quicker than that. Once it goes through, call us back. And then she was like, wait, you actually probably won't have to call us back. Once it goes through, try it again. If it doesn't work, call us back. I am updating your notes completely so that when you call in, the next person you talk to will know what you've gone through so far, and they will be able to help you efficiently without you having to go through this entire story again. And sure enough, that was Tuesday. By Wednesday, I was able to log into my account again. By Thursday, I was able to complete the application, and by Friday, I had access to the account.
Okay.
So that was not even really 3 business days, because Tuesday night, well, yeah, it was 3 business days to completion. But she was just talking about my account part of it would be 5 business days, and that was only 1 business day. So that was good. Yeah. Oh, crap. McCann says they're also using it to mask deny prior authorization claims. And for context, in just our primary care office, we do 5 to 10 PAs a day. Shit.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the thing about AI.
Currently,
clearly, if you've listened to any of if you listen to this entire episode, you know we're not bashing AI.
No.
But yeah, there's still things that need to be worked on, and we need to react accordingly.
Because that's the only way it gets fixed.
Yes.
The only way
we need to treat it like we know that it's not perfect yet. That it can't just do everything.
Right. Because
that's why if I was in a scenario where I was trying to program something and I didn't have any experience with coding, I would not be leaning on AI anywhere close to the amount that I'm leaning on it now, because I can look at the code and see what the fuck is going on without the help of the AI.
It's really the same way with a whole lot of other features and functions that it can do. If you're already initiated and schooled in the particular discipline, then sure, you can see where the shit made a mistake, messed up, and then go in there and fix it because you got knowledge and experience doing that shit. But if you are a layperson, it might look to you very inviting that, oh, I could try something you never tried before. And that's a great feeling to have. Like, damn, but you also got to go in knowing that this shit is not perfect technology, and you not having the experience or the skill level to be able to fix something when something gets wrong could affect the outcome and the result of whatever product or service you're trying to do. You have to figure that shit out before you decide to commit money, time, effort, all of that shit into these things thinking it's going to take you all the way there. No, it might take you 60% there. You might have to do the rest.
Yep.
And if you don't have the experience, it's gonna suck.
Yep.
And
Trash.
never make your customers
basura.
Never make your customers pay.
So breakage, right? Breakage is a concept that companies will use as an excuse for profits not being as high as it potentially could be. Right? That's supposed to be with goods, with merchandise,
right? Not
with services,
right?
Services, there's not supposed to be breakage.
Nah,
that's not how that's supposed to work.
No, absolutely friggin' not. No.
Yeah. McKenna said the hilarity is though that we use AI to help make templates for the prior authorization claim letters, because that is a use case that is much more complete than the other way they're trying to use this shit.
Right.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
Bananas.
Fucking people. It's always people, man.
It
can't not be people, but it can't not be people. But that's not the point. It's always fucking people, man.
One day it won't.
Well, sure. that too is trash. It's facts.
So yeah, Diddy's going down.
Oh, Diddy Done.
All of you that have ran around here for the past few weeks to maybe a month or so, trying to find excuses and weasel a way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You look crazy doing it.
Yeah.
You have tossed your credibility up on a dumpster heap.
Yo, question. I don't know the answer to this. I legitimately, that's funny, G. I legitimately don't know the answer to this question. Any pending lawsuits that he has?
Oh.
Is he able to attend to them? And I don't mean in person, but is he able to attend to them given what he has with the feds?
Sure. I think so. Because a lot of those are civil.
Right.
So yeah, he should still be able to handle that. And again, this is part of the restitution aspect of it too. So whatever money they get from him is going to go to, and they're going to get everything. They're going to get everything. They're going to get every fucking dime. They're going to squeeze this motherfucker until every drop comes.
As they should.
And they absolutely. This is part of. Listen up closely, mortals, because this is what happens when you risk so much for so little.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you go. This is what happens when you finally achieve everything you ever wanted or said you ever wanted in life, and then you wilded the fuck out after doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of you laying back and enjoying the fruits of your labor, you decided to do some cornball bullshit and turn, not really a complete turn, because you probably was already that, reveal how much of an asshole you are.
Yeah.
And now this is where you are at. This should be a cautionary tale. But it won't be.
Nah.
It's what we know about y'all. Y'all gonna do it anyway, because I won't get caught. I'll be smarter. I'll do it better. Okay. Don't end up on an episode.
Or do.
Either way.
Yeah, you use the content.
Definitely use the content. And the guffaws.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, I'm glad you said that. Remind me. So
it's diabolical.
So when we have these conversations, right? I want everyone listening to understand the nuance and the context involved, right? Because I am legitimately, I want to make this clear. I don't want no ambiguity at all. I am laughing at Diddy that he may probably never see the light of day again.
Yes, that's funny.
That is hilarious to me in that it is
well deserved.
Proper, right. It is
well
proper recompense for what he has put out into the world. Now, some might hear me say that and think, oh, well, if you made a mistake, you wouldn't want. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You can't make anybody who has their faculties, who doesn't have some type of severe mental handicap, you don't make mistakes that many times, not the same mistake. After a time or two, it's a choice.
Oh, you don't know what you're talking about, SBJ. I slipped, fell, and got engaged in sex trafficking. It was an accident. Somebody left a banana peel there, and I blew up somebody's car.
Right. So even in that instance, right? Let's say the banana peel forced you to blow up that car, right? Okay. So the next time that you approach that spot,
right, and
there's a banana peel still there, a person within their faculties would just not step on the banana.
No, what he did was bring his own banana peel.
Right. And put it in that spot.
And then he could do it again.
The Dave Chappelle, I'm Rick James, bitch, stomp on it. Right. Like, what are we talking about?
They should have never gave these niggas money. Listen, I'm telling you right now that the laughter he gets on the other side for the people that had to be negatively affected by this, we mad.
Yes.
We mad.
Facts. All facts.
We're mad.
It's just there's really no. First of all, it makes you feel better to laugh than to frown.
Yeah, facts.
Second of all, there's nothing tangible that we can actually do about the anger.
I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you who's gonna do something. The feds.
Facts.
The feds are gonna do something.
And the result of what they do to him will be hilarious.
And we will laugh. We will guffaw. Right. And y'all can miss me with all of.
So I fell asleep on my Amazon app.
Look, y'all can sit up here all day and try to decry and talk all this cornball shit and try to misapply principles of pro-black behavior and pro-African diaspora. We not hearing it.
Speaking of setting cars on fire and shit, all you dumbasses, that's what you are. You're dumbasses. Matter of fact, hold on. Yeah. All you dumbasses, right? That say shit like, oh, if he really blew up Cuddy's car, something would have happened to him by now. Or the fact that something didn't happen to him means that Cuddy's lying about him blowing up his car. That's how legal cases work. They get the evidence. They do not immediately come and get you.
No.
So yes, this is something that could be said in public and that nobody will do anything about for a while because they're still building their case.
Remember,
now that the case has been built, he's behind bars.
If you build it, he will arrive. This motherfucker threw bricks at the penitentiary. Stop thinking you're not going to get a room, bro.
Thanks.
You built your own room there.
Yep.
That's it. And we're going to laugh at you because you violated motherfuckers. So you are to be clowned and ridiculed.
Exactly. And it's always funny. Now, sometimes they get lucky, right? Mm-hmm. It's always funny how these people who do things that other inmates might frown on end up in Gen Pop.
Right.
Sometimes they don't end up in Gen Pop, but sometimes they do. And then we hear stories about things that have happened to them. I heard this one motherfucker, speaking of stories, talk about, they shared the link of an article saying Diddy was on suicide watch. I'm like, they about to kill him in broad daylight in front of everybody, blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up.
Yo, please miss me. All right, so this thing that GA said here, we talked about this earlier before you came, GA. I find it funny how a bunch of so-called street niggas, right, who we've all been around and heard when people we know, people either in our family or people, whatever, that lived in the neighborhood, we find out, oh shit, the feds got him. Everybody makes the same person, oh shit, because everybody knows that once the feds are on you, it's the reason why their conviction rate is so fucking high is because they don't come and get you till they got you. That's why. Now, all of a sudden, these niggas is running around here acting like they don't know that that's how the feds operate and coming up with all these professed escape routes for Diddy to take. And no, there's no escape. This motherfucker's cornered. He did the shit. They know he did the shit. By now, other motherfuckers have already snitched on him, just like McKenna said about they were building a whole RICO case. Those are huge and are investigated by multiple police departments, multiple lawyers involved, etc. And also multiple testimony from multiple witnesses who they already applied pressure to say, nigga, let us know what the fuck's happened, or is you are toast. You're cooked.
Federal versus state charges. What are federal charges? Federal crimes are offenses that specifically violate U.S. federal laws. Federal offenses are prosecuted by government agencies such as the Federal Bureau of Investigation and can oftentimes carry penalties that are far more severe than those levied by state courts. If you are under investigation by a federal agency or have already been indicted on federal charges, your future may be at stake. Examples of federal crimes. No, hold on. No, it gets there. Examples of federal crimes. The following federal offenses are punishable under federal law, including piracy, treason, counterfeiting, drug trafficking, violations of securities laws, violations of interstate commerce, having defended clients against various types of crimes, including the following: affirming his best knowledge of passion to protect your freedom against the prosecution's claims, federal drug offenses, federal sex crimes, computer crimes, weapons charges, violent crimes, money laundering, white-collar crimes. Federal charges require a powerful defense. When considering the professional pedigree of the prosecution and judges found within the federal system, it is imperative for accused individuals to retain an equally aggressive defense to maximize their chances of securing a desirable outcome. Notice, he didn't say getting off. He said, anyway, federal versus state courts. Both the states and the federal government have the power to prosecute individuals for criminal offenses, with each having its own separate court system. Any issues that deal with a violation of federal statutes or the United States Constitution fall within the federal court system's jurisdiction and will therefore be prosecuted in federal courts. In total, there are 94 district courts and 13 U.S. courts of appeals in the federal court system. Federal versus state judges. Judges in the federal court system are nominated by the president and after being approved by the Senate serve for life. Federal prosecutors, on the other hand, begin their careers in the state system and are selected to serve the government after rising through the ranks. This is why federal prosecutors are widely regarded as some of the toughest in the nation and have a reputation for prosecuting cases with extreme tenacity. Federal court conviction rate. More than 90% of individuals who are prosecuted in federal court are convicted. If you are facing federal charges, it is of utmost importance that you entrust your case to hard-hitting federal criminal defense attorney to vastly improve your chances of securing a reduction of your charges. What are we talking about here?
I don't know what the fuck these motherfuckers are talking about, yo. I don't know what the fuck they talking about, but you can do this dance, you can do all that dance and shit around this shit. Your boy's cooked because your boy did it.
Yeah, Diddy did it.
Diddy did it. And now Diddy done. And with that, we'd like to thank all of you once again for joining us for another rousing edition of Black Culture Geeks Podcast. Be sure to never forget that there is always music.
Yes, sir.
Always music. There is music from SBJ. There's music from Tombstone the Dead Man. There's music from GA. There's music from Great and Square. There is always music.
Thanks.
So if you have not, go click a like, stream some songs, go to a Bandcamp and get GA shit. Like, support us. We appreciate all the support. And if you haven't yet purchased your Majestic Comics stuff, go to Majestic Comics shop, go get that. Yeah. You want to support us on Patreon, you can go to Majestic Comics Patreon, join us, $5.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Go and join us. Help us.
On some Nike shit. Just do
it. Just do it. Also, do not forget, my sister, his significant other, Chrissy's podcast, Heard It Through the Grapevine.
Indeed.
I was over there wild in the last one. Go check them out. Also,
as you're want to do.
first. And don't forget our guy, Side Guy, and Hendrick.
Yeah.
Medicine Mutants. Go check that out as well. And remember, reaperlegion.com, my merch shop. Go check that out as well.
Yeah,
I think that's it. And so from SPJ, I am Tombstone the Dead Man. And for the rest of the Multi-World Entertainment family, we are out.
Peace.
Diddy Done.